Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Pandacast. I hope you guys have had an amazing day. Welcome back to OWN Valencia Masters, and it is match day number 4. I am your host, Pandacast, joined by the amazing Duncan Brawl Stars. How are you doing today, Duncan?
I'm doing fantastic, Panda. Very excited to get back into the action after a couple weeks off. We've got a bunch of great games ahead of us today, and I couldn't ask for a better guy to be casting it with, so super fired up to get back into the action, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, we have 4 amazing matches for you guys today. First up, it's Reverso Eclipsar. Then we have SK Gaming versus Inner Circle, Ping Abusers versus Team Heretics, Reply Totem versus Humble. And in the time between the last 2 streams, we've also had a monthly finals, and we know who the teams are that are going to be making it to the Brawl Cup and representing this amazing region, EMEA, at Dallas DreamHack.
Yep, absolutely. We had an amazing monthly final, and there's going to be a lot of storylines from that monthly final that kind of carry into our games today. We've had some roster changes as well to Reverso and Heretics, so we're going to be seeing a little bit of a fresher face coming out for those 2 teams. Maybe it's the change that they needed to kind of get them over the hump and start getting some W's in our league play today. Maybe it's not. We're going to find out how these new teams are going to be gelling though, Panda.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware with whatever has happened. A few updates, I guess, would be that Humble and SK Gaming have managed to get to the Brawl Cup. SK Gaming is going to be your first seed. Humble is going to be your second seed. Both these teams super consistent, and it does make sense that they are going to be there. There are some shakeups as well. Team Heretics, Drage has left the squad, and in response, they have picked up Roop for Heretics right now. And Rage and Gask are going to be joining Reverso, since Roop was a part of the Reverso squad as well. So a little bit of a mix up here and there, and it's going to be interesting to see how these teams do happen to gel.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there was obviously a lot of drama going down with Team Heretics. A lot of people were very curious if Drage was going to be sticking on the team. As of right now, it seems like that is probably not going to be in the cards. So curious to see where Drage ends up. But as of right now, we do have Chaos, Linane, and Roop on Heretics. And then, like you said, Roop leaving Reverso, and Gasson and Rage are going to be trying to fill that spot. So Reverso is a team that we haven't seen pick up a W in the OWN league play so far. That's our only team actually that's sitting at 0-3 right now. So maybe this roster change will be enough to help them get into the win column right here. As for Heretics, they're just going to be trying to shake off some of that chaos that's kind of been shadowing their organization since this monthly final. Obviously, a lot of drama going down there, so hoping to put that drama behind them, get back into the leaderboard here. But here's what we're looking at with the leaderboard right now. Humble remains our only undefeated team right now, with Totem, SK, and Inner Circle sitting below them at 2-1. We have Eclipsar, Ping Abusers, and Heretics at 1-2, and then Reverso, our only winless team as of right now, Panda.
Yeah, and just looking at the top 3, right? You have Humble 3-0, not really surprised there. SK Gaming is at a 2-1, but they only lost to Humble, so that is, I guess, okay, I guess, for them. Reply Totem 2-1 is actually a surprising development considering how iffy Reply Totem has been in the recent past, but going based off what we're going to go into right now, Reverso Gaming versus Eclipsar Esports, and Reverso Gaming has been struggling. They are sitting at the bottom of the table, and they are still unable to secure a win, like you mentioned. It's now or never for this squad, as 3 match days are already over. The stakes are only going to keep rising from here. Meanwhile, Eclipsar is also slightly on a downward spiral, falling from an unstoppable force in March to barely ranking the standings in April. Getting swept by Foot in the quarterfinals didn't really help their case either. For both teams, it's really time to turn things around.
Yep, absolutely. These teams definitely need to pick up a win today. I'm definitely excited to see which of these teams steps up to the plate. Obviously, it is, like you said, now or never to pick up some of these wins and solidify their spot in the top 4. So expecting big things from Eclipsar, expecting big things from Reverso. But guys, we have a quick announcement here. We are going to be giving away some free gems on the broadcast today. So if you scan that QR code on your screen, Panda, I believe that is going to be 50 gems to the first person to be able to get in there. So make sure that you get that reward if you're able, but I'll send it back to you, Panda.
Yeah, 50 gems. I mean, it's going to add up. We get 6 of those for each of the match days up to own Masters Valencia, the actual LAN event. So you have a lot of opportunities to get these gems. I believe they're going to be popping up every time we go into a match. So make sure you scan the QR code on your screen so you can get those gems for free in game. So thank you to OWN and all the sponsors for making this possible.
Absolutely. Definitely a great opportunity. Looking forward to see what you guys are going to be able to get your hands on those gems. But as we go back into talking about these games here, Eclipsar, like you said, is a team that we kind of expected a little bit more from going into league play. They have not really stepped up to the expectations that a lot of people have had for them. But this is going up against Reverso here. Our only 0-3 team does present them a great opportunity to kind of snap back into form and put themselves back on the map here. But I want to send that back over to you, Panda. What are you expecting from our first match of the day today?
I don't know, actually, because like Gasson and Raze are great players, and Nesanondi are also great players. I feel like there might be an issue of too many cooks spoiling the broth here, whereas Eclipsar are standing true and firm to their 3-man roster. It's not a 4-man roster, so they play with this team for all the tournaments as well. I feel like in terms of all of the synergy that we're looking for, Eclipsar definitely has it. But both these teams are slightly on the reverse, like a downward spiral. So I really think it's up in the air. But I think I would bet for Eclipsar if I was a betting man.
That sounds probably about like where my head's at, but we have seen teams that add new players have a little bit of that energy boost. I think that BC Gaming in the NA region is kind of a good example of that. They picked up Patchy for this last monthly final, and they were almost able to take down our undisputed NA champions, Tribe Gaming. But that's just one example of many of players joining a team and kind of elevating that roster a little bit. So we're going to see if Gas or Enraged, whichever one is going to be getting the start today, is going to be able to kind of bring that type of energy to our last place team Reverso right here. But definitely hoping that they're going to be able to gel together as a team and give Eclipsar a run for their money, as both of these teams desperately need a win right now.
Yeah, they're both at the bottom of the leaderboard. So, I mean, it's still just matching number 4. We've almost finished 50% of the games, but there is a possibility of them just scrounging by. But this is a very, very immediate concern for both these teams, especially Reverso, because right now they're winless in this tournament. So it's not a great prospect, but you know, teams have climbed back from worse situations in the past.
Yep, and we do have 7 full days of league play, so hypothetically they could end up at 4-3 when it's all said and done. Definitely gonna have to put their foot to the gas pedal right now and start getting on the leaderboard right here. But we've got 2 teams here that are definitely going to be fighting from the bottom up here, and then later today we are going to be getting into some of our heavier hitters. Especially that last match of the day is the one that I am personally most excited for. Reply Totem versus Humble, a rematch of the first round of our April monthly finals for EMEA. So definitely expecting big things out of that. Humble was able to win 3-2 in there, but definitely Totem gave them a run for their money. So hoping that we'll be getting some banger matches just like we're expecting.
Yeah, I mean, Reply Totem, they've kind of come back into form a little bit. We see a lot of more pop-up plays happening, but there are some moments where they do make these small little mistakes which other teams seem to capitalize on. And we've seen this regardless of the tournament throughout the BSC and in third-party circuits as well. So I feel like, you know, they're at the cusp of cleaning that up, but you know, time is running out. We are at the end of the first split. I don't know how Brawl Cup's gonna happen. If NA or any other region wins another title of the Brawl Cup, that means one less spot for EMEA in the World Finals. So, you know, lots of different things happening. We're gonna go into our graft in the first set. It's gonna be on Ring of Fire, and the maps today are gonna be Ring of Fire, Last Stop, Pit Stop, Super Beach, and Hideout.
Yep, we've got some great maps coming up, starting with Ring of Fire, as you said. And it looks like we're going to see these bands come in. We have Lumi, Lou, BB, which is a little bit surprising to see the BB band out. But as well, we're going to have Bo, Janet, and Meeple band. That is going to be Eclipsar picking up a B with the first pick. Definitely makes sense there. You want to have that high damage option to kind of sit in the middle of the zone. And with that shield star power, she's able to be a lot tankier than people give her credit for. That gadget is also incredibly annoying for just getting some damage from a far range. So I definitely do like the B as the centerpiece of this composition. Curious to see what Reverso adds on to that, especially considering the B does have some of the better range for some of these higher damage brawlers.
Yeah, I mean, B is just a no-brainer when it comes to a map like this. You need to have that long range, and I feel like it just has so much of versatility and also longevity here. And Reverso Gaming opting for the Chester along with the Gray. I love this Eclipsar Esports comp. They have the heal coming in from the Poco. Draco can be really, really great. It can be and I mean, it's just a big tank which just barrels down towards you, and the heals from the Poco are just gonna help it be even more potent. So I already like this Eclipsar comp, but the Chester it's already there to kind of take out the Draco and the Frank is just going to add more insult to injury here for the side of Eclipse are.
That's definitely an interesting draft right there. A little bit surprised to see Frank on Ring of Fire. Not something you see too often. Usually teams will opt for a Hank over the Frank if they're looking for a tankier option there. But it looks like the B is going to have some pretty free matchups here. Definitely expecting big things from that brawler right here. As far as the Draco goes, I'm not the biggest fan of the Draco in Ring of Fire. I feel like it can get countered out a little bit, especially with that Frank right there. But that 1 HP survival gadget is definitely going to be annoying, especially when paired up with that Poco. So we're going to have a lot of HP coming down from both teams right here, and it's really going to come down to who's going to be able to counter out the tanks better, I think, between the Chester and the B.
No, you're completely right with what you're saying here. I think it's definitely going to be a 50-50 here, at least for me, but I'm interested to see how this one does play out at the end. I am looking forward to seeing the B going on a tear, but I feel like once you get those great portals down, Reverso Gaming's composition might be a little too difficult to get off that point.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a pretty impactful thing to look forward to see how early the Gray is able to get that initial teleporter into the zone. That's going to make the Frank's life so much easier to get value if he doesn't have to waste all that time walking back in and juking those B shots. If he's able to just teleport right into the zone and get maybe a gadget or a super off right there, he might be able to increase his impact quite a fair bit. Once again, before we hop into this game, though, I'm very confused why Reverso felt the need to ban out the BB here. I feel like they definitely could have banned B and made their life a lot easier on themselves, but they opted to go with the BB ban instead. Potentially a misclick. I have to assume for now, though, that it is on purpose, so maybe a little bit of a fumble in the ban stage. We're going to have to see if that B terrorizes Reverso as hard as I think it might.
Yeah, we should be heading into game any moment now, so apologies for the delay. I still think that Poco is an interesting pick here because he just has so much of sustain and the healing is still guaranteed despite the fact that there was a nerf to the gadget use. But I still think that Poco has so much of healing, and along with the fact that with the Draco gadget you can stay alive in those clutch moments. I like Eclipsar's chances here, but they have to be careful about the Frank. They need to ensure that they're always on guard for the Frank, or maybe a sneaky Chester here or there. And, you know, that's early game. Once the late game comes around, it's going to be very hard for them to stay on that point because Reverso's best bet would be just to cycle those teleports.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely going to be very impactful to see how fast the Chester gets that hypercharge as well. If he's able to get 2 or 3 hypercharge supers off in this game, that definitely could be the carry that Reverso needs to be able to come out on top of this. I do kind of agree with you. I do think Eclipsar probably has a little bit of a comp advantage here, but I like the Frank into the Draco. Going to be curious to see how much work he's able to do there. If Eclipsar plays this the way that I think they should be able to, though, I think that Reverso is going to be fighting an uphill battle here.
Yeah, it seems like we did have some spectator issues, and seemingly Eclipsar got the first win. So we will get back to you with more information on that once we do get there, but it seems to be some spectator issues on our end, so we apologize.
Yeah, definitely a little disappointed to not catch that first game. I guess at least our analysis was correct. Eclipsar does seem to have a little bit of an advantage here as far as the comps go, but hopefully we'll be able to watch game 2 and see how that kind of played out. But that did seem a little bit fast in my opinion too. I'm wondering if they kind of rolled straight over Reverso right there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we just know the who won the game. We don't know the actual scoreline or when the score actually happened, right? So a little sad that we can't really see that, but apparently Team Heretics now is not going to be, it's going to be IKEOS, Linne, and Roop. Oh yeah, that's what we mentioned, sorry. I got some new information, and I thought it was new information, but it's actually just the older information again. I apologize.
Yeah, well, it seems like Reverso might be missing Roop right there as they're going to be going down 1-0 in our first set. Hopefully we'll be able to watch game 2. Holding out hope here right now, Panda, but definitely want to see some Ring of Fire action here, especially with all the tanks that we have picked off the board. I want to see what they're able to do right here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you just talk about the meta for now, right? It's such an aggressive meta. I feel like if you don't really go in with all the aggression that is available, you're going to be caught in a bad situation. We saw that with NA. A lot of times teams were going for picks that make sense on paper, but I feel like with how aggressive the meta is, it doesn't really pan out as well. So I feel like you need to be aggressive and you need to really lean into that aggressiveness. And I feel like a team like SK Gaming and a team like Humble are really good at those sort of plays, which other teams need to pick up on, because it's all about reading the state of the game and the flow of the game, and I feel like most of the other teams don't really compare to that level just yet. Hoping to see some more cleaner plays as we go into this tournament, but still waiting on the spectate, guys. We apologize.
Yep, just to kind of add to your point there about how aggressive this meta is, you just see a lot more double tank than you used to in the past. Even on maps or on modes like Knockout and Bounty, you often are going to see like double tanks. You're going to see Hank a lot. You're going to see Ollie and Buster a ton. And even like some more niche picks like Shade have definitely made their spot known in the meta right here, especially on a map like Layer Cake, where Shade can just be super oppressive. But there's a lot of aggro. And then obviously with the aggro being super prevalent, you're also going to see those counters to those brawlers be more prevalent, like B, like Chester that we saw drafted already. Those can definitely be some good picks. Some other ones I want to look out for today are going to be Finks and Otis, I think, as well as Bo, some more underrated high damage brawlers that are able to do well into those aggressive comps. So I guess those are just some brawlers that I've got my eye on here, as we're still not able to watch the game as of right now. But definitely a lot of aggro, and obviously it's very fun to watch these aggro plays as well. These players are so good on these tank brawlers, and they just put on an absolute show whenever they get on a fun brawler like that.
Indeed, and it seems like we're going to be going into draft once more on last stop. So I'm not sure who won the Ring of Fire set, but I'm gonna say it's Eclipsar based off the composition. I need to get more confirmation from the team. We apologize for the lack of spectate here as we go into our draft of last stop between Reverso and Eclipsar. The band brawlers are going to be Lumi, Ollie, Chester, Meeple, Amber, and Jean. The first pick for Eclipsar, the Janet.
I do love the Janet as a first pick here. She can play mid, she can play lane. That drop the base gadget is so annoying for just stopping enemies from healing, for scouting out the bushes, especially when you play it on that right side of the map. And also, as I've always said about Janet, she is the ultimate gem grab reset brawler. If you get that hypercharge, you are never out of the game. Even if the enemy team has all the gems, you're pretty much able to get a confirmed kill with that Janet hypercharge, and it can completely change the course of the game, especially if you cycle that super. You're able to land on the gems and fly right out. It can be so frustrating to play against. So I definitely like that from Eclipsar. It's going to be a good mix of aggression and kind of safety as far as being able to kind of play back in the map with that drop the base gadget. But a pretty solid start to the draft so far. And I am expecting a little bit more aggro to come down, considering we only had the Ollie band out. But Reverso is going to be picking up a Bo and a Otis, two of those more aggro brawler counters that I mentioned earlier. So I definitely like that from Reverso. The Bo mines can be super annoying on this map. And then Otis is just an absolute shutdown to any tank options.
Beautiful draft coming in from Reverso. I like the versatility. Like you mentioned, Bo has been slightly creeping into the meta as a very reliable pick, I would say. In the past, it wasn't as great. It's not like Bo has received many buffs to make it relevant. It's just that the meta itself favors the Bo pick. And talking about how the meta favors very aggressive picks, we have the Max being comboed with a Buster, which is probably one of the best combinations if you take out the Jean from the Max.
Yeah, I absolutely love that combination of the Max and the Buster. They're going to be able to play together so well. They're going to get that Buster shield up with a little bit of extra speed, and we are going to see Reverso try to counter out that aggression with a Lu. So we're seeing more or less 3 tank counters come down from the side of Reverso. I'm expecting Bo to be in that mid more than likely, and then we'll probably see the Lu try to shadow over to the Buster side, but Reverso's not taking any chances with getting run down here. Absolutely not. And the side of Eclipsar is going to be going for a little bit more flashy plays with max speed, with Buster pulls, and obviously with the Janet flies. So we see a safer comp versus a more aggro comp. I'm a little bit curious to see who's going to come out on top of here. I don't particularly favor either of these teams super hard in the draft. I might have to favor Eclipsar a little bit just because of the existence of Janet hypercharge, but I'm very curious to see who's going to be able to come out on top here.
Yeah, because I feel like early game, maybe not that early, but I would say maybe like 20-30 seconds in, once the Buster gets the super, you're going to see a big advance coming in from Eclipsar. So Reverso really needs to kind of rely on that Lu to shut down that Buster. I think that he can do that because I feel like Buster can get shut down quite effectively by Lu and also by the Otis as well. Maybe not if the montage is already up, but I think the Lu addresses the Buster quite well, and the Max too. So good picks coming from Reverso, but it's not like they had any other option, realistically speaking.
Yeah, definitely needed to to get something else for that Buster. I mean, the Otis is a pretty solid option into the Buster, but I don't think that they wanted to kind of leave it to the chance with the Otis being able to counter at that Buster fully. I do like the Lu Ice Rank a lot, and on this map you can kind of shut down the entire middle of the map with that, and obviously there's not like a ton of walls on this map, so if you're able to kind of block that off, it's going to kind of dictate where the opponents are able to go. So I definitely see it as being a good pick, especially when combined with the bow mines. You can kind of block off the entire map with the Lu Super and the bow mines, but hopefully we'll be able to spectate this game and actually see if our analysis is correct on this one, Panda.
Hopefully. I feel like your analysis is quite astute. I feel like it could definitely pan out. Like, I keep saying pan out, code pan. But let's see what actually happens, because honestly, I think we might be having some more spectating issues. Just waiting for production to get back on that. But in terms of this draft, who do you think is going to be taking this one?
I have to give a slight advantage to Eclipsar, I think. Maybe I'm a little bit too heavy on the Janet Glaze, but I feel like just how menacing her super is when she gets that hypercharge, it's just a little bit too much to deal with. All three of the brawlers on Reverso Gaming are easily able to be taken out with the Janet hypercharge. None of them have any ability to dash out or to like teleport away to kind of avoid that. So all of them are going to be pretty susceptible. It should be pretty easy for the Janet to land those bombs. And because of that, I think that I give a slight advantage to the side of Eclipsar, not even to mention the max speed with the Buster combination that can also make for some huge plays. I feel like if Reverso is going to be able to win this, it's going to have to be a pretty passive game, and they're going to have to not feed the Janet very much.
Yeah, you're completely right. With the drop the base gadget as well, Janet's going to be very hard to really aggress upon on either way, and then if you are too close to the bushes, you're going to get caught out by both the max and the Buster. And it seems like again we have some spectator issues. I would kindly request whoever is doing this to please stop. We want to watch some esports. It would be great for us to be able to watch this, but it seems like Eclipsar took the first game off this set here as well.
Yep, Panda, I do love talking about the draft, but I like it when I get to see if my analysis is correct as well after the fact, so I do apologize for that, guys. Hopefully we'll be able to get into a game eventually here. We do get some confirmation that Eclipsar did sweep in the first set 2-0, so not super surprised to see that coming through. Hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit more here before this game ends, because it looks like Eclipsar is taking them to set point here. So if they are able to win one more game of gem grab, that's going to be 2-0, and Reverso is definitely going to be trying to dig themselves out of the gutter from there on.
Yeah, and once again, we apologize for the issues right now. It's not anything that we can obviously fix on the fly. It's not a production issue here. It's something related with the game itself. So we are trying to go through different scenarios where we can get you the feed, but taking a little bit of time. But we'll try to get this for you guys as soon as possible. Apologies.
Yep, sorry about that, guys. We want to watch it as bad as you guys. Trust us on that. Hopefully we'll be able to get in for at least for set 3 here. We got to see if our homies at Reverso are able to prevent themselves from getting swept by Eclipsar in our first match of the day. But we definitely are looking forward to getting into some games. So it's like I said, the draft is awesome and all that, but got to really play the game through to see how it's actually going to pan out there.
Yeah, I honestly I think I'm at a loss for what to yap about next.
I'm feeling you on that. I mean, I guess we can talk about. I don't know. What do you think about the? Yeah, what's up, Panda?
Oh yeah, we have the balance changes that are going to be coming. I feel like in a few days. It's not going to be there for the next 2 match days, which is today and tomorrow, but it's going to be there after the fact. We have some very important information, I guess, which would be Melody is going to get unnerfed. She's getting a buff back to her height. Apparently, she's going to have a very, very large neck now, so that is very interesting. But a lot of people, it wasn't just in Brawl Stars, man. I saw it across communities. A lot of people were memeing about the Melody height change with the old and new meme format. So that was pretty fun that Brawl Stars had such a big, popular culture impact.
Yeah, no, it's definitely funny to see that we're getting balance changes, and it's not to any of the brawlers' abilities, not to any of the brawlers' damage. We're just getting a Melody height increase, so I'm sure all of the Melody fans out there are going to be happy to see that. And we should also be seeing the new hypercharges come into the game relatively soon, so definitely going to be a very, very different meta by the time we come back for day 6 and 7 of this tournament. So definitely looking forward to seeing how the meta shifts itself out. I'm definitely going to have to play a ton of rank to make sure I'm on top of the meta and can still provide some good draft analysis analysis right there. But
Yeah.
looking forward to getting all these balance change notes. I know a couple have potentially been leaked already, but I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the full set of balance changes and seeing what's going to change in the future.
Yeah, indeed. And if you guys don't know, Duncan, he makes content on YouTube. He's a daily content creator. He also streams once a week. So make sure you guys follow him on the YouTubes at Duncan Brawl Stars. Make sure you subscribe to him. He is an up-and-coming YouTuber and I guess a caster as well. He's just done a stellar job. I think you guys definitely need to check out his content more. On Twitch, I don't think he streams as much, but he might be multi-streaming in the future. I'm not sure. So make sure you follow him on Twitch as well. I'll put the shout out right now.
Yeah, I'm looking to get onto Twitch probably in the next month or so, but I stream twice a week on YouTube, so I appreciate the shout out there, fan. But yeah, daily rank content from myself there, and we do show the games on my channel, so we don't have to just see the draft over there.
The shade was very very delicious over there. Just talking about what we this update, I guess we could talk about the update here. What was your favorite part about this upcoming update in Brawl Stars? Or not upcoming, this update in Brawl Stars?
I gotta give it to Jae Young. I've been really enjoying my time playing him. I did buy the early release. I had to cash out on the Jae Young, but he is a super fun brawler, and I think he's kind of going to change the meta pretty hard. I think he will be the best support by a pretty wide margin. He's pretty much like Max, but if you didn't even have to get a super to get that speed to your teammates, so definitely seems like a crazy broken brawler. I'm looking forward to see what the pro teams are able to do with that, because it's definitely a pretty big gap between the way that pros are able to use support brawlers versus your average player. So I feel like he definitely could shape the meta quite a fair bit. Curious to see if people are going to be switching between that speed and that heal mode pretty often, or if they're going to favor one or the other, kind of dependent on the matchup. But that's probably my favorite part. Obviously excited about the ultra legendary brawler coming into the meta as well. So should be very fun to see these new brawlers. Always love when they get creative with these new brawler kits.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jae Young a lot. I feel like we needed a support which filled up different niches, right? But it does dabble in different ways. You have the speed, you have the heals as well. And it's going to come down to your reading of the game as to when you need to heal and when you need to give the speed and when you need to run away and advance and whatnot. I feel like it's going to be an easy brawler to play, but it's going to be a hard brawler to play perfectly. And I think that if you can get a player on your team to, execute at that level, it's something that you probably can't go wrong with. I wouldn't say it's a broken brawler, though I don't know. I haven't played it yet. But it looks like it's going to be very strong, and it's looking like it's going to be a great support.
Yeah, I don't think he'll specifically break the game on his own, but I think with a good team, they definitely could lean more towards that broken side. And we haven't even mentioned the damage gadget as well, which basically gives him a third mode. So you can do speed, you can do heals, you can do damage. You kind of get the best of all worlds with Jae Young, and you can give it all to your teammates. So it's definitely a very versatile pick. I feel like there's going to be some absolutely diabolical comps, especially considering how strong aggro and tanks are in the meta already. If you give them a support that can give them heals and speed, I feel like that's going to change the game so much. Definitely excited to see what players are going to be bringing out the Jae Young next month.
Yeah, for sure. And a little bit more anarchy is going to be brought back into Brawl Stars. We have mutations coming back. Oh, we have gameplay. Never mind. It was we got baited. It wasn't gameplay.
We got a second of it. I mean, that's more than we've had in the past. So hopefully we'll be able to get back in for real this time. Definitely a little bit of a tease right there. But I mean, at least we have the capability to show a little bit of gameplay. Hopefully that leads into the next game and we can watch the whole thing then.
Yeah. So going back to what I was talking about, we get a little bit more anarchy in Brawl Stars. We get the Wasabi event. It is analogous to the mutations that we got with the with the Godzilla collab last year, so it is quite similar to that. I am kind of looking forward to using those mutations. I feel like vanilla Brawl Stars, it's fun, but you need a little bit of zest in your life, right? So I think that the Wasabi powers are going to be interesting. Luckily, they're not in all of the game modes, so you don't have to be, tearing your hair out in case you don't like that content. But we have. I feel like a lot of anarchy coming to Brawl Stars when that event does start. And I think it's going to be starting like this week, right?
I think it might be May 1st. I'm not 100% sure about that, but definitely excited for that. And the new hypercharges as well, which we haven't really got into. But specifically, Kenji and Amber's hypercharges both look absolutely disgusting to me. I feel like Kenji will automatically kind of cement himself as the best assassin brawler in the game. Amber's definitely going to be one of the best control options in the game as well. With the size of that oil spill, she's going to be able to pretty much burn any bush on the map, which could make her a little bit of a better counter to aggro and tanks than she used to be. So I'm definitely excited about that as an Amber fan myself. But it looks like we're going into set 3 here. Not too sure who won the second one, but we're moving into some pit stop right here, and we are going to have the Lumi, Shade, Cordelius, Edgar, Spike, and Carl all banned out. Expecting Eclipsar probably to have the first pick considering Reverso banned Lumi, but this is a map where there's definitely a lot of more aggressive options. You're pretty much going to see those tanks and those aggro that can do a lot of damage to the safe, and then besides that, you're going to see brawlers that can kind of counter that out. And we're going to see Eclipsar pick up one of the highest damage to the safe throwers in the game. It's going to be the Barry. Great support brawler, great damage brawler for the safe. I really like that pick from Eclipsar.
Barry coming out, like it's kind of fallen off in terms of the sheen that you have with healers, right? It's not the de facto healer anymore, but on a map like this, it is so good. Once you get that gadget off on the safe, you're gonna get so much of damage barreling down, and then you have the healing as well, so you can heal people even from beyond the walls, etc. So I like this Barry pick. It's a little early for the Barry for me, maybe, especially in this meta, but we do have Edgar being banned out. We do have Shade being banned out. And Cordelius as well. So there is a possibility of some kind of dive compositions coming in. I expect a Charlie somewhere later in the draft, and Melody's coming out along with a Buzz. I like this composition from Reverso Gaming. Eclipsar need to kind of double down on just aggro now, because if they keep with their current strategy, I think that the Barry and whatever Eclipsar brings right now might be overwhelmed.
I agree with that. You see Reverso is definitely going very aggro on their side of the draft here. 2 brawlers that can get up the map quick, do a ton of damage to that safe. With the Barry first pick, you'd think that Eclipsar is probably going to add at least like one tankier aggro option that can kind of benefit from the Barry's heals right there, but it looks like they are probably getting outmanned as far as safe damage goes right now. I do like the Charlie pick, as you said, into both Melody and Buzz. I think that could be a very good shutdown brawler, so wouldn't be surprised to see Eclipsar pick that up as more of a defensive brawler, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do, and they are going to take an aggro with the Lily to try and use that gadget to teleport straight up to the safe, more or less. I'd kind of like this a comp from Eclipsar, but I feel like Reverso's got a better base, honestly.
Yeah, I think that Reverso already has a really good strat here. Eclipsar, I mean, you get some guaranteed damage with the Lily. Lily can also assassinate people, but I feel like Lily's just going to be completely on offensive duty. The Barry is going to be there just a little bit support on either lane, but I feel like Reverso have a really strong composition, and Eclipsar have just molded their composition just to counter Reverso, but unless they address both of the DPS options, I don't know how good this Eclipsar comp is going to be against Reversos. But Eclipsar is actually up here 2-0 in terms of the set score.
Good to get some confirmation on that. I think that the Barley pick is a fantastic last pick. People don't give Barley as much credit as he deserves for the amount of support he's able to provide to his team, and it looks like we are going to be able to watch this game. So super excited about that. But what I was going to say is that heal gadget is actually so impactful as well, and it kind of makes him similar to Barry in that manner. But we see Nez pushing up right here. Gas is going to be up on the right side as well, but it's going to be Sabim getting most of the safe damage as of right now with the help from that Barry.
Yeah, it seems like we can hear the point of view of somebody there, so I'm going to be muting that. Okay. we can at least talk about what's happening on your screen now. Lots of damage coming in from the side of Eclipsar on this Reverso safe, and Nez is going to be putting down the super in a defensive position. They get the kill on a Sabim as well, and Nez going up against Marco and a mano, and it seems like Marco is going to be able to slot this one in and give Eclipsar the first win here. They're on match point.
Yeah, it looks like they were never able to get Lily off of the safe. I wonder if both of their aggro options just went up immediately. Kind of thought that they might be able to outdamage the Lily there, but it seems like they were incorrect there. The Lily and the Barry were too much safe damage for them to overcome right there. Barley couldn't fend it off all by himself. So interesting to see that. It looks like we are watching from Nez's perspective as well. But it looks like the Lily's going to be popping the gadget right there, going straight up for the safe as well. Marco trying to follow up to join, but Nez is going to be getting that heal out there, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of damage, but Enrage is going to go down, so it's just Gas and Nez up on the safe for Reverso.
And it seems like we have everything. People aren't talking on the clean feed anymore, so that's good. So far though, it seems to be pretty even though I can't really understand what the score is like right now. We don't have the percentages, so can't really give you an update on that. But it seems like Reverso are quite effective on this Eclipse R safe, getting quite a lot of damage, especially with the Barley in that right position there. That's exactly where he wants to be to, make his presence known against this Eclipse R side.
Yep, they're definitely playing well as a team right now, kind of all moving up together, but it looks like Sabim is going to go in, barely not able to get the kill on Nez. Fantastic defense there. And it looks like Gas is trying to go in onto the berry right there, but Marco is going to stay alive. He's going to get 2 kills there, and he's going to be left on the safe by himself. That is not a brawler that you want to leave on the safe by himself. Those berry shots do so much damage over time. We're going to see Reverso trying to defend here, but their safe is quite weak. Looks like it's down to 25% here, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, it is down in the wire here. And yeah, we have a hypercharge coming in. Marco is going to be able to go and get some more damage and is able to clean up that save. So it's going to go to Eclipsar. They won 3-0 in a clean sweep against this Reverso side of Enraged, Gas, and Nez. Congratulations to Eclipsar Esports for taking their second dub of the tournament. And Reverso are still at the bottom of the league with their 4th loss today.
Yep, that was dominant from Eclipsar. You gotta love to see a team bouncing back like that. Haven't had the most success in this tournament so far, but they're going to be picking up. They're going to be 2-2 now, so definitely going to be in that top 4 positioning if they're able to keep playing like that. Reverso, on the other hand, is dropping down to 0-4, and you've got to think if they don't start winning soon, they probably are going to have to kiss their chances at top 4 goodbye for this league play, but a little bit unfortunate that we didn't get to watch as much of the games as we had hoped there. Either way, though, very well played to Eclipsar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they played well. Unfortunately, we can see it. Like, you guys can see it either. Hopefully, in the next few fixtures, we don't have that problem. We'll be going into SK Gaming versus Inner Circle. It just seemed like Eclipsar, in terms of the draft and in terms of execution, they completely outskilled Reverso Gaming, because I feel like from the draft itself, we kind of got an inkling of how it would go, and it went exactly the way we thought it would. So no real surprises there. I guess the only surprise is how clean Eclipsar was. So congratulations to them for taking that 3-0. We're going to go into SK versus Inner Circle next.
Yep, SK versus Inner Circle next. Very excited for that matchup as well. And it looks like the first map we're going to be having is out in the open. So definitely going to be a pretty technical matchup there. We didn't get to see any knockout in this first set, so it'll be our first knockout match of the day. But out in the open is an interesting map where you can go a little bit more aggro. As we pop up our second free gem giveaway of the day, guys, make sure to scan that. Get to try your luck at getting those 50 free gems. But like I was saying, on out in the open, you're going to see a little bit more aggro than you have in past metas. So I'm excited to see if maybe we see a brawler like Hank make his way back into the draft here. But what do you think, Panda?
Yeah, I think that's possible, but just a little bit about, I guess, the story, right? So Reverso Gaming, not Reverso, what am I saying? Reverso, it's SK Gaming. SK Gaming is another team like Humble, which is quite consistent. Ping abusers are, without a doubt, why am I talking about ping abusers? I am so confused, chat. Let me just, okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so SK Gaming, along with Humble, have been the most consistent team in the BSC. The team in purple have secured both their spot at the Brawl Cup and also secured their monthly finals win, right? They'll be repping EMEA there. This team just seems to be on fire at the moment for showcasing their amazing results, right? There seems to be no signs of stopping SK Gaming right now. Inner Circle, on the other hand, seems to be in a very interesting predicament. It is consistently known for showcasing inconsistent results, which is unfortunate. And on the other hand, they do have a remarkable squad. They have great heights, but with equally devastating lows. They have Mebius, Knob, and Rama. And the question here right now is, will Inner Circle finally find their rhythm, or will the inconsistency take over once more?
I feel like Inner Circle is one of those teams that can hang with anybody on any given day, but also wouldn't be surprised at all to see them get kind of clapped up by SK here. It's going to be kind of, depends, they're a very hot and cold team, whereas SK is probably the most consistent team in the EMEA region. They have just been so dominant week in and week out. They've performed in every single monthly final, and they are definitely they've definitely earned their spot at the top of the leaderboards, I'd have to say. So very impressed by what SK showed us so far, but Inner Circle is not a team to be counted out. They can definitely hang with the best of them.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like there are some murmurs of like another player trying out for Inner Circle. Not sure if there is any confirmation there, but I think that with enough context clues, you might understand who that might be. But I have to say, this SK Gaming squad, Joker, Yoshi, and Ope are so good, right? They are so good at this aggro play. They are amazing at synergizing and getting wins where you probably don't expect them to get wins. They do go over some experimental drafts from time to time in these third-party tournaments, but when you see them in the BSC, they kind of lock in with their drafts and they lock in with the way they bring their mojo to the field. So it's a very strong squad. Inner Circle also really good, but like I said, inconsistent. I would say though, there might be moments where they might completely show you flashes of brilliance, much like the Brazilian team in football. So you shouldn't be surprised that that might happen with this Inner Circle squad.
Yep, I think that they are probably going to have to take a couple of chances today in order to beat SK, as we've seen throughout the entire year. SK and Humble have just been at the top of the leaderboards. They're the teams that are the hardest teams to beat, I would have to say, the most consistent teams week in and week out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Inner Circle kind of swinging for the fences here, trying to take a cheesy comp here and there to sneak something off of SK here. But overall, SK's got to be our favorite.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is the overwhelming favorite. I would be surprised if they do take an L, but I don't know. I think a set 5 could be very possible here. But I feel like a lot of the modes which favor Inner Circle are the ones which are very, you know, skirmishy, and you have to get into the weeds. Like Triple Dribble is the 5th map here, and getting to the 5th map is going to be hard. But if the 5th map was the first map, they might have had chances to force more sets, because I feel like in Triple Dribble or in maps like Hard Rock Mine or maybe out in the open, Inner Circle might be a squad to be wary of, because in those maps specifically, you can get caught off guard with some of the compositions that you see.
Yeah, I definitely think out in the open does present them an opportunity to think a little bit outside of the box and try to get a cheesy win here. Obviously, my favorite brawler, Mandy, is able to kind of get some of those kills if she's able to get a super and just kind of wipe somebody off the map from completely off of the screen right there. But there's other options you can go to, like Hank, like Ollie, that can kind of be more aggressive and make those plays. But I'm sure on the side of SK, you're going to be seeing brawlers like RT and Pearl that are kind of able to shut down some of those more aggro options. So it's going to be a little bit of give and take. I'm very curious to see how outside of the box these teams are going to think, especially in these early rounds here.
And just for people who have just joined us now, across the entire stream, we will be putting out 6 QR codes, and that's going to be before every match. It's a one-time use QR code. You get 50 gems, so make sure you guys are, you know, clued in and are wired, because you want to get those 50 gems. It's going to be from now until the Masters Valencia event, which actually happens. So make sure you guys are here and locked in, because there are going to be a lot of gems to be given away. And if you snooze, you lose.
Very true, very true. But hopefully you guys are able to get your hands on some of those gems. Wouldn't mind some free gems myself, but I think I'll be all right. But either way, it looks like, oh, never mind. I thought we might be hopping into the draft here, but here's just the overview of our games that we have today. Panda, do you have anyone that you're most excited for?
I would say I'm excited for this one. I just like to see how SK is going to play this. It's not that I expect this to be a very close game, but I still think that I like to see the finesse that SK brings to the table. Another one that I would like to see is Humble Reply Totem, because Humble is so consistent. And Reply Totem, they're almost there, I feel like. They're almost on the cusp of the old Reply Totem, and I kind of want to see how close this one could go. I'm going to say it's either going to be a 3-0 or it's going to be a 3-2. But for the 3-2, I don't know who's going to be winning it.
Fair enough. I mean, we did see a 3-2 in round 1 of our April monthly finals between these two rosters, so definitely they've got a little bit of recency right there. Totem should probably have a chip on their shoulder from getting eliminated from that monthly final in round 1 to Humble, but Humble's going to have to be trying to defend the throne right there. That is probably the matchup I'm most excited for, though. I feel like in the EMEA region, we have kind of SK and Humble in that tier 1, and then in that tier 2, I feel like my top team in that tier 2 would have to be Reply Totem, so I'm very curious to see if they're going to be able to kind of jump from that tier 2 to that tier 1, and beating Humble would definitely be a good way to kind of show that they mean business here.
I believe the teams are getting ready, are getting into the lobby, so we should be going into our draft, and like you mentioned, out in the open is going to be the first one here. And
yep, looking forward to the out in the open. I feel like I'm hoping to see a little bit of sniper action. I know that the snipers have kind of fallen out of the knockout meta, but as a sniper main myself, I always love when I get to see Mandy, when I get to see Piper, even a little bit of Angelo has never hurt anybody. So I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more of that. Maybe we're just going to be going full tank squad, just like kind of every other game mode has been. But I'm very curious to see what these teams are going to draft.
yeah, for sure. I mean, for a map like this specifically, right, knockout on the open, you do have a lot more aggro brawlers being taken. The snipers have kind of lost their time in the sun now. They aren't going to be brought out as much, though. One sniper that I see being brought out, and I don't know if he could be called a sniper, but he is a sharpshooter of sorts. So RT is pretty good because of the fact that you can mark up people, and for the last second engages, they might be pretty decent. Another brawler that has kind of crept its way up slowly but surely is Pearl, along with the Kit. So Kit has a lot of different options that you can bring to the table, like the Buster, or maybe the Daryl, or even the Pearl. So I feel like now with the Kit, you have a lot of different options that you can synergize well with, and it's definitely a viable option here. But things to think about are Gray, or even maybe a Jean. It kind of puts a lot of doubt into the sharpshooters, but Byron, RT, maybe Angelo are definitely ones which you might see here.
Definitely. I think that the Kit is a great observation there. The Kit can be so impactful in a game mode like this. I've seen a lot of teams kind of use the Kit just as a more or less of just like a suicide bomber, just jumping on the brawler that they want to eliminate the most. The cat knows that they're going to go down after, but as long as your teammates are able to secure that kill and get them into a favorable 2v2, sometimes that's all that they're looking for. Other times you'll see like the cat with an aggro brawler like a Daryl or a Buster. But it looks like we are going to be getting into the draft here. We're going to have Hank, Buster, and Ollie. So 3 aggro brawlers banned by SK. Inner Circle bans Lumi, Mandy, and Angelo. And then we're going to see SK grabbing that Jean first pick. So not surprised to see that. It looks like they did want to go for a more traditional knockout comp, banning out a lot of these aggro options. So they don't want any tanks on the side of Inner Circle. They're just going to be taking that Jean, trying to play for that pull.
Yeah, 100% they're taking the Jean for the pull, but they also want a late max pick. But I feel like they can also veer away from that strategy if they don't really like it. Inner Circle can go for a pull of their own with the Gray that they can bring out to the table here. But I feel like SK Gaming, with this Jean first pick, they don't really show all of their cards, except for maybe that max pick. I feel like Inner Circle might pick up the max just to deny SK Gaming the pick, and might try to find some workaround with that max for themselves.
Yeah, it looks like Inner Circle, they're going to be picking up a Bow and a Kit here. So not too surprised to see either of these brawlers there. Bow can be very impactful, especially when he gets those mines near the end of the game. He can kind of close off a lot of those choke points, make it really hard to push back once the gas starts closing in. And then Kit, like I said, you can kind of play Kit multiple ways. You can be a support and ride your teammates, try to give them that extra healing, especially if they're a more aggro option. Or you can kind of just go in and try to take out the biggest threat on the enemy team, which is most likely going to be Jean right here. So it definitely is going to force SK Gaming's hand. How much do they want to try to worry about this Kit? Or do they just want to try to play their range and not think about it too much? I'm very curious to see.
Like you mentioned, the Kit is so versatile because he can play and satisfy so many different roles. So it's adaptable, but obviously the range disparity is going to be a huge issue if the Kit isn't sneaky enough, and you don't obviously want a Juan Carlos situation where you go 0-11, right?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think we'll be seeing that. And it looks like SK is going to take away the Daryl from the side of Inner Circle. They're going to grab the Max, as you guessed, Panda, as well as the Daryl. So a little bit more aggro than we were expecting right there. I like to see that, though. I think that is a pretty good comp, and I think that they are more or less taking that Daryl just to get it out of the hands of Inner Circle here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I like that Daryl pick. It removes it from Inner Circle. That means their strategy is going to be off balance. And I feel like, you know, the Jean, along with both the Max and the Daryl, I don't think you can go wrong with either here. Inner Circle will have to go for the Pearl. Pearl is definitely a big wild card here because in the right hands, it can do so much of damage. And it's just going to be on the back lines. I feel like the composition from Inner Circle, though, is a very passive composition at the start. So SK Gaming might have the opportunity to farm that super for the Jean earlier on than expected, unless the hit, you know, with the invisibility takes out one of the marks.
Yep, I'm definitely expecting this to come down to when the gas closes in. I feel like neither of these teams are going to be too hot to trot to try to get an early kill there. Definitely not going to be risking their life. Obviously not going to be seeing Daryl roll in on all three of them by themselves. So I think that we probably will see these teams just try to farm their super in the early game, wait till that smoke comes in, and then see what happens. But it looks like we are into our game, so we should be able to watch it this time from Joker's perspective. But he's going to be on the Max, Ope on the Daryl, and Yoshi on the Gene, as they are getting pushed pretty hard right now, Panda.
Indeed. I mean, seeing SK in the back ropes here is not something that you expect all the time here. Nice aggression coming in from inner circle, and now Ope is forced to actually use the roll to get out and alleviate a little bit of this pressure, and he does exactly that. Now he's going to go in, but he gets taken out by Nob, and Ope is completely destroyed. Joker is going to be the next to fall, and despite Yoshi trying his best, he's the last one alive for his team, and he's surely going to be falling down the wayside as Inner Circle get the first round win.
Definitely a tough look for SK off rip there, but honestly, that Pearl breaking the wall for them is not the worst thing in the world. As you see, they have a little bit of increased mobility now. Joker's going to be giving Yoshi and Ope that speed as well, so we're going to have to see if Yoshi's able to land the magic hand here. Bow mines are coming out, and Ope is going to be kind of stuck trying to deactivate those for the time being, but we're going to see Inner Circle on the back foot here, which they probably aren't too upset about as their Pearl is able to charge up to full heat.
Indeed, and Yoshi does have a pull that's going to ensure that Inner Circle respect the Gene pull. You don't want to move up too close and get taken out by being over aggressive here. So they're going to be playing it patiently, and I feel like they don't really need to aggress, and they're just waiting for Joker to get his super, which he should get in the next few seconds.
Yep, it looks like they are kind of taking their time here. Ope is flashing that Daryl super like it's nobody's business, trying to keep him on their toes, but Rama's going to pop the bow hypercharge. Joker is going to be using his speed right here, and it looks like both of these teams are getting a little bit more aggressive. Nob is going to miss his jump, and Yoshi's going to be able to survive as Ope rolls in with the Daryl. We're stuck in a 3v2 right here, and it looks like Inner Circle should be falling quite shortly here. That's going to tie it up 1-1.
Nice Joker, Max, the phase shifter to give a little bit more style points to SK Gaming as they are able to get that round, and we go in round number 3 to see who is going to be taking the first game to set the tone for the rest of the competition.
Yep, and we're going to see that we have the max speed and the Gene pull online, especially the hypercharge pull too could be even a little bit more impactful, but it looks like they are grouping up. Maybe Joker's going to be popping that speed soon. Inner Circle seems to be quite content kind of hanging out in the back lines of their spawn right now. Bo's probably trying to look to get some mines here. Pearl is probably fully charged up, and I do not have vision on the cat, so quite curious where he might be.
Indeed, and that's where he is. Nice rolls coming in from Ope. Joker gets taken out, but they are able to find the kill on Mebius. It's going to be a 1v2. Rama is still alive. Ope is very low, but Yoshi with his magic puffs is able to heal him up and is able to take down Rama. That's going to be game number 1 for SK Gaming. Despite taking the round 1 loss, they were able to execute with really strong replies in the next 2 rounds to get that first win there, Duncan.
Yep, they have a comp that's definitely going to thrive the further into the game you get. Once Gene gets that pull, Max has speed, and Daryl has roll, they're basically going to be kind of unstoppable. So I wasn't surprised to see the cat going in, trying to get a sneaky kill early there. Didn't pay off on the Inner Circle side that time, but we'll see if maybe they try getting a little bit more aggressive this time as we get back into game number 2.
Indeed, and already Inner Circle in a very good spot here. Nob getting the kill on Ope is huge. He gets the stun off on a Joker who falls as well. There is a trade by Yoshi on a Mebius, but now it's Yoshi alone, Gene, against 2 of the opponents here. He's going to go down, and he doesn't want to feed too much, and that's exactly what happens as the first round once more taken by Inner Circle, and we saw that in the first game.
Yeah, Inner Circle does have a very good early game comp. Once that cat gets the initial super, they're able to be so aggressive, but Yoshi did get fed a pull there, so very curious to see how long he'll be holding on to that for. Joker is not able to get the speed to Yoshi because of those bow mines, so him and Ope are going to be sped up as the cat goes in on Ope, and it looks like that's going to trade out. So now we have a 2v2, Max and Gene versus Bow and Pearl. The HP advantage is on the side of Inner Circle, but if Joker's able to get that speed and hit that Gene pull, it could definitely change the course of this game very quickly.
Indeed, Joker is quite low, but these healing puffs are doing a great number to keep him up and healthy here, so good job there. Yoshi does have a pull, could go for Rama here. Joker trying to disengage some of those mines, but they have to do something quick because as the fire comes in, ooh, no, big gadget onto both marks here, and SK Gaming is going to be so low in a very awkward position. Hypercharge used, but misses all of the marks here for Yoshi, and Mebius is going to go on a tear here. Yoshi's going to be falling, as is Joker. No, actually, Joker survives. Can he get the kill against Rama here? He's trying, but he gets taken out, and that is actually going to be match for Inner Circle, who were able to equalize it at 1 apiece.
That was super well played to Inner Circle. They never waited long enough for the gene pool to really be too impactful there, so you got to give credit where it's due there. Fantastically played by Nob to be able to get the trade outs that they desired there, and then well played by Rama to not fold under the pressure of the 1v1, even though Joker is obviously on one of the most wiggly brawlers in the game. But we're going into game number 3 here. Winner is going to be starting out quite well. Joker is going to be trying to scout out on this top right side. It looks like SK is playing this a little bit more aggressively than the first 2 games.
Indeed, already Joker has been pushed back into the spawn here, and with a Pearl, with the amount of heat that it has, it's just going to be very scary to be in such an aggro position. Right now, Gene needs to get a pull to make something happen. Ope does have a roll to go for that. Speed is also online. It's just that they're waiting for Yoshi to get his own ability online.
Yep, and it looks like Joker's going to be trying to get this Pearl out of here, but the Cat is going to get some good damage there. No deaths as of right now. Joker has to phase shift out of there. He's going to give the speed to Ope on the Daryl, though, who is going to be able to secure the kill on Rama's bow, and he's going to barely survive, but not for long, as the pull comes through as well. And this is a hectic finish to the game. It's just going to be Nob and Joker, both quite low HP. Joker's going to be forced to take this jump pad on 600 HP, and Nob is going to be able to finish him off for round 1.
Ooh, absolutely electric reply coming in from Inner Circle for that round 1 victory. Just one more round and they get the first set against SK Gaming, which is kind of crazy, all things considered here, Duncan.
Yeah, no, fantastically played to Inner Circle. They're using these Cat plays to the best of their ability, and the Pearl has been so impactful with that burn gadget. I feel like she's gotten so much damage there. Nob's going to be jumping up, trying to sell the bag for a kill, and it's not going to work. He's going to sacrifice himself for basically no gain right there. Joker's using the speed to disengage the mines, and now Inner Circle is stuck in a very disadvantageous 2v2 with Ope's Hypercharge live and Yoshi's Hypercharge live. More than likely than not, probably not going to use that gene pull in this round, as it's a 3v1 Panda.
Yeah, it's Mebius just alone by his lonesome. He's going to be taken out. Oh, he gets a kill on a Joker. That's just a little bit of a saucy kill there. I don't even think it was necessary. He gets taken out. Does feed the rest of the team their supers. Hypercharge is online for side of SK Gaming. Speed as well by Joker. There is a pull from Yoshi that he could possibly use here. So good spot and good positioning from SK, but Inner Circle definitely have the advantage as they won the earlier rounds.
Definitely, but they're going to need to make sure they get a little bit more value out of this last cat jump here. Feel like if you're going to go in, you have to at least trade out there, and they weren't able to do that last time. But we see SK pushing up with full positioning right now. Not really too many supers online from the side of Inner Circle as well, but Yoshi's in a position where I feel like he might be able to hit a pull if he goes for one here. Curious to see how long he holds on to that.
Yeah, I feel like it's being held for a little too long. Nice pull coming in. They get the kill on a Mebius. That is huge for SK Gaming, as they have forced a 2v3 against Inner Circle. There is an invisible kit on the field.
Yeah, it's not going to be able to do much, though, as Ope is going to roll through. They do end up trading out there, but that's going to be no sweat off the back of SK. They're able to win set 1, 2-1. Fantastically played to that team right there, man. That was a fantastic first game, though. Definitely was exciting to see some of the kit plays come live, but it looks like the Gene Max Daryl combo was a little bit too much HP and speed at the end for them to overcome.
Yeah, and I feel like it just comes down to the draft. The Gene, it was a beautiful draft coming from SK. They went for the Gene, and they knew that they had a few ideas that they could go for with the Gene. Understanding that the Gene was there, you saw Inner Circle picking up their picks there, and you had the kit as well, and the Pearl, and then you immediately understood that the next pick was going to be the Daryl. So they decided to go for the Gene and pick up the Daryl as well, and that completely... not Gene, sorry, the Max and the Daryl as well. That completely threw a wrench in the works for Inner Circle, and I don't think they were able to adapt to that level that they wanted to adapt. But I feel like Inner Circle should have won that set. It felt like Inner Circle were on course to win that, and it just didn't pan out at the end for them.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of the micro plays with the kit. I feel like Just going in any time and not being able to secure that trade is going to be such a massive L for your team. Like losing its player, obviously in knockout, the team that loses the first player is more often than not going to lose the game. So if you have your cat going in and sacrificing itself for no gain, that's going to put you in a tough spot. But I do think that the Daryl pick was so fantastic. Not only taking it away from the side of Inner Circle to pair it with the kit, but just Daryl getting his super for free, getting his hypercharge for free throughout the course of a game is so impactful at the end of the day. And he's got so much HP, he's just so hard to take out when the smoke starts closing in.
Indeed, and we are going to be going into our next set, which is Open Zone. And just looking at what the bans are here as we go into our draft, they're going to be Ollie, Max, Chester, Lumi, Byron, and the Bell. First pick from SK Gaming, opting for the Bull, which is a very safe pick on this map here, Duncan.
Extremely safe pick on this map. Bo's able to get his mines very easily with that bow totem as well, and that hypercharge mine. So you could hypothetically have 8 mines on the zone. Going to be very difficult to disengage those mines without taking damage unless you have a brawler with like speed or dash abilities. But I do think that the bow is probably one of the safer first picks. Definitely should be able to hold down the time on that zone. He's kind of similar to Lou in that way, which is another brawler I wouldn't be surprised to see fall into this draft.
Yeah, for sure. Lou is just so great for dictating the pace of the game and ensuring that you can't be as aggro as you want all the time. Though, obviously, the team fielding the Lou is going to be having a very fun time at being as aggro as possible. But Poco is still very much available, and it is the most picked brawler here. May not have the highest win rate, but it is certainly the most picked one here. B is still very much available as well, has a decent pick rate, has a decent win rate as well, much higher than Poco's, and they decide to go for the Amber along with the Low. I don't really think that these are bad options here. Amber has a very high win rate here. The Bow as well, it's almost like 83% win rate across the entire month in EMEA. So not surprised to see those picks coming out. Lola as well has a very high win rate on this map, so good shout from Inner Circle for picking these.
I like both of these two brawlers quite a fair bit. I'm a little surprised to see B not get snatched up at that turn right there. I feel like B is probably outside of Bo, maybe even ahead of Bo, the most dominant mid on this map to kind of just be able to hold down that zone time. But we're going to see Inner Circle pop up with like 2 more lane type brawlers, I guess, with the Lola, with the Amber. I think that it is very solid, though. This is quite a ranged map, so I'm not surprised at all to see more ranged options taking in place here. And these brawlers both have decent damage as well, not as susceptible into tanks as other mid-range brawlers. So and we're going to be seeing a Pam and a Stu come down from the side of SK. This is the only map where you're likely to see Pam in this entire meta. Not very strong brawler, but this map is kind of made for her with those walls at the top, those unbreakable walls that you're able to put that turret behind. So I don't hate the Pam. She should have enough HP to give Amber and Lola a little bit of trouble, but I don't think that Inner Circle is super outcomped here so far.
Yeah, I think that Amber is still really good along with the Lola, especially with the freeze frame. You're gonna have a lot of sustain, and the Jant's gonna be coming out as well. I think the Jant with the drop the base gadget is gonna be annoying. Obviously, you don't want to be in the mid while that drop the base is there, and they don't really have an easy way to take it out here. Speed zone's gonna be there for SK Gaming on the other side, but overall, I think it comes down to execution. Though I like Inner Circle's composition; it's a lot more conducive to this mode.
I would probably have to agree with you. I am a little bit of a Pam hater in general. I know she's all right on this map, but just by herself, she's just not a very strong brawler, has very weak damage, and I guess there's not really a whole lot of tankiness on the side of Inner Circle, but overall, I'm a little bit of a Pam hater. I feel like she's not going to be the best here, and I feel like if SK is going to win, it's going to be on the backs of the Stu and the Bow.
Yeah, we're going to go into game number 1 off this second set here between SK and Inner Circle, and it seems like we have Joker's point of view here. Anyway, early start is with SK Gaming. It seems like they do have a little bit of a lead here.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to be seeing plenty of turrets and totems popped up. We saw the Bow totem was able to get Pam that first turret faster. Joker's popping up his speed zoner as well, but it looks like SK has been the only team to touch the zone so far. They definitely do hold the advantage as far as being a little bit tankier than Inner Circle here, but Inner Circle's getting a lot of good damage coming through. But you see that Pam turret is just getting so much value for Ope and Joker right now, and they just keep on healing up, stepping onto the zone, and then going back and healing up more as Mebius takes to the sky to try to get a little bit of damage here. It looks like he's going to be going behind to try to get the turret out another way.
Indeed, a great start coming from SK Gaming. They've completely outclassed and pushed away Inner Circle from the spawn here. There's a little bit of a distraction at the bottom lines, but honestly, it's just tickling Ope, not really doing all that much. Mebius is going to be flying in, but again, he's in the back lines here. He's going to be taken out. I don't really understand the rationale for Mebius' super in that interaction.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to kind of flank them from the other direction, but it seems like I might have to issue a formal apology to Pam mains all around the world, man, because the Pam was just way too much healing for them to be able to take out. Makes me a little bit curious if Inner Circle's wishing they went for a higher DPS brawler with that last pick rather than the Janet. It seems like they probably needed a little bit of a harder DPS, like a higher DPS tank countery type brawler to be able to take out the Pam, because as of right now, they just do not have the damage to be able to do much to SK.
Indeed, we're going to go into game number 2, and this time we do get to see the percentages, so at least we get to understand what's happening in real time here as we go into game number 2. SK took game number 1 quite comfortably. Duncan, let's see if they are able to replicate that success in this one.
It looks like they are going to have the Pam turret online already, but that is going to be Yoshi going down, so it is going to be only 2 players on the side of SK on the zone. Nob has a super as well as Rama, so looks like Rama's probably trying to angle his way up so he can get that burn onto the Pam turret, but Yoshi is back into the action now. It looks like Joker's doing all he can to collect a little bit of zone time, but we're going to see Inner Circle finally step foot onto that zone for the first time in this set with the Janet right there, but Yoshi is not having any of that. He's going to blast Hypercharge right into his face, and Mebius is going to have to take to the skies just to stay alive a little bit longer.
Yeah, Mebius on the backlines again against Ope. He's caught in an awkward position once more. We have the oil stick going down, gets a burn off on the 1, but that turret is going to keep Ope quite juicy and healthy, but Nob does dispatch it, and now I think that Inner Circle might have a way forward if they are able to take down Yoshi, but I don't think Yoshi is going to let that happen.
I think it might be too little too late. Yoshi also has 8 mines up as the last time I checked, so we only have 15% more coming off the board for SK before this game is done and dusted, and it looks like this is probably going to do it. I don't see anything that Inner Circle is going to be able to do at this point with all of those mines on the field. That is going to be a GG for our hot zone set. SK is going to take a 2-0 lead over Inner Circle here.
Yeah, it was quite a dominating victory here in this set. I mean, I did expect it considering the draft. Thick Mama Pam is just so tanky and so thick, and she just has that much of HP that the sustain was too much for Inner Circle to really deal with. We're gonna go into Hard Rock Mine next, but before we do that, what do you think of this set? Do you think there was something else that Inner Circle could do in terms of the gameplay, or was it just chalk from the get-go because of the jab pick?
I don't think they had enough damage to be able to deal with the Pambo combo. I feel like that's kind of where they went wrong, was going with the Janet. I don't know if this would have solved all their problems, and I don't remember exactly what the bans were, but I feel like Otis low-key could have been a shout with that last pick. Might have been able to do a little bit more work there, but the Janet just seemed to kind of just be taken to the skies, dropping like a couple bombs here and there, but never really enough to secure any kills. And then even though she was able to like get behind the backlines, like that's far away from the zone, and you need the zone at the end of the day. The Pam healing was too much to overcome, so I apologize to the Pam lovers. I should have believed, and I will not make the same mistake going forward.
Hey, you should never underestimate Thick Mama Pam, and I better see your streams, and I better see you pick up Pam on Open Zone. We're gonna go into Hard Rock Mine next, and I mean, I want to say one thing, right? Inner Circle. What we saw today is emblematic of Inner Circle as a team through the entirety of the year. The first set, they looked like they were going to take down SK Gaming without really breaking a sweat. In the second game, they looked like they didn't even get out of bed and didn't even show up. So the inconsistency of Inner Circle is apparent even within games and within sets itself. Hopefully in Hard Rock Mine, they're able to change their outcomes.
Yep, definitely. It seems like SK's super locked in with their drafts that they want today. I feel like they've kind of gotten the comps that they were looking for both times. Obviously, with that knockout, they wanted the max speed to help them out. But we're going to be moving into Hard Rock Mine here, guys. Our third set, SK is going to be looking to take home the sweep here. But we're going to see Buster, Rico, Penny banned. Rico and Penny, not brawlers you see banned out all that often. And then Inner Circle bans out the Lumi, Kit, and the Chester. So definitely some more strong bans coming from the side of Inner Circle, I would say here. It looks like SK has some specific things that they don't want to have to deal with here. But overall, definitely looking at Ollie and Hank as some options that I've seen a lot especially in the monthly finals for EMEA here, as some aggro brawlers that could definitely cause a lot of issues. But it looks like that first pick's going to be going down, and it's going to be a Gray, which I love to see because I have seen so many hectic gem grab games because of the existence of Gray and his teleport. So I'm fired up. This should be electric.
I think Gray is quite versatile. Like you mentioned, it's already a great pick earlier on. Just the turnaround potential that you can have with the Walking Canes, and the fact that the gadget rework has happened, it just makes Gray that much more viable because you have so many chances to catch the opponents off guard. And Inner Circle going to go for the Max along with the Nita. I think that Nita classically was a pretty good pick, especially with the ban and exclusion of the Rico. It just makes her more viable because of the fact that you can wall peek much better than most other brawlers here. There is the option of Ruffs here as a Rico brawler, but I mean, I don't know if Ruffs is at all viable, or rather I know that it's not viable.
Yeah, I would be a little surprised to see the dog pop his beautiful face into our draft today, but I do not mind the Nita, especially considering SK has the Gray, meaning they're more than likely going to grab a tank. As expected, it's going to be the Jackie. The Jackie Gray is a combo that you see all the time in competitive play nowadays in Gem Grab. So I like that from the side of SK, and they grab, in my opinion, the most versatile brawler in the game, the Carl. So I think that's going to be a very, very difficult comp to beat on the side of Inner Circle. I'm not the biggest fan of the Nita, especially considering they probably knew it would be a Jackie, but they're going to need to find something to shut down that Jackie-Carl combo because that is looking quite menacing right now.
Yeah, and I feel like the only option you have here really is the Lu to shut them down, but like if the Lu misses the super or if they aren't able to get the gadget off, then it's basically curtains. So Inner Circle have a very, very difficult task ahead of them here because I don't know if they can really address the composition from SK Gaming.
It's going to be really hard. I wouldn't be shocked to see Hank. I wouldn't be shocked to see Otis or Lou. But it looks like it is going to be the Hank right there. So not a bad counter into the Jackie at all. I'm definitely not shocked to see him there. Honestly, a little bit surprised we haven't seen more Hank today. So I think that is a good pick from Inner Circle. I'm more confident in the Hank than I am with the Nita. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Hank has an 80% win rate. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that Hank pick. I guess I really need to brush up on my draft here.
Yeah, the Hank is definitely going to be pretty menacing here. He has just been absolutely spammed on every map and every mode throughout the entirety of monthly finals. So I'm excited to see what he's able to cook here. But overall, I do think I still give a little bit of an advantage to SK. I feel like the Gray with the Jackie and the Carl is going to be so difficult to deal with. The Jackie's just going to be cycling. But we're getting into our game right now. As we see SK with a 2 or 3 gem lead, it looks like they are probably going to be able to pick that up right now. But Joker is going to be on the Carl. Yoshi is facing off against Rama's Hank on the right side of the map, and we're going to see Mebius have to use a dash out already as Ope tries to get his first teleporter online.
Indeed, it's a pretty even start here. Rama is quite aggressive here against Yoshi. Obviously, that's Mark he wants to go up against. So we have the first portals coming up. Ooh, super coming from Joker. He gets kill on a knob. He's going to be very low. Gets taken out by Mebius, but a great engage for SK Gaming in that scenario as they've pushed back all their opponents.
Yep, and Yoshi is just going to keep on cycling in and out of these great teleporters as he pops right into Nob's face and is able to blast through him. Ope already has his second hypercharge teleport online as well, so he's going to be popping up there with 6 gems and fantastic positioning for his teleporters. Yoshi should have a very, very fun time just moving up the map and causing chaos the rest of this game. As he goes in, he uses the super, but Rama shuts it down with his Hank super, and that's the main reason why Hank is so good into Jackie as a counter pick nowadays. As Joker's going to be using his hypercharge up here though, and he quickly deals with Nob. I feel like the Nita pick is a little underwhelming so far. Joker's going to be able to deal with that bear quite easily, but SK has a pretty healthy lead as of right now and fantastic portal positioning.
I feel like the Nita pick is so quintessential 2023. I'm surprised to see it here, but you know, they're trying to make it work. But SK Gaming so indomitable with their compositions here. They go completely in on this IC side and have taken out every single member. Rama might be the next to fall. He's very low. He uses a super to stay alive here, but Joker might fall down by like the wayside. It is a 9-3 gem lead. Oh, it's never gonna matter. It's SK Gaming who's going to be taking this dub and moving on to match point against Inner Circle.
Yep, once they got those teleporters set up, it seems like that was pretty much the end of it right there. I don't know if Inner Circle has a hard enough tank counter to be able to keep the Jackie out of their spawn right there. The Nita's not able to do much into the Jackie. Really, Hank with Super is the only thing that can shut her down. But as we saw, it was only about one time that they were really able to quickly deal with that Jackie before she was able to cause too much trouble. But we're going into game 2 now. Match point right here for SK if they're able to take this home. And we see it looks like there's going to be a little bit better pressure on the side of Inner Circle right now. Hopefully they're able to put up a good fight here.
And I believe SK Gaming in the monthly finals has only lost to Inner Circle, so this might be slightly cathartic for them if they get this dub here. Looking like they might, but Inner Circle, you never know, right? This team is a firecracker of a team. You really don't know what you're going to be getting in their mixed bag of tricks.
Absolutely, and they definitely are holding down a lot better as of right now. Ope still has yet to get a teleporter online. We see that max speed causing so much chaos on the side of Inner Circle right now. Yoshi's taking it slow on the Hank lane, more than likely waiting for Ope to hit 1 or 2 more shots to be able to get that teleporter. Ope's got to be close at this point, but we're through a pretty good percentage of the game right now, and the fact that Ope has just now got his teleporter online is definitely boding a lot better for Inner Circle, but they probably would like to have a bigger lead at this point.
Now, finally, with him getting the teleporter off at the right position, this is great for SK Gaming, and you're going to see them trickling up in their gem line compared to Inner Circle, unless Rama can do something which would completely decimate them. Huge hypercharge with Joker. He's able to get 1, he's able to get 2. That is a big kill. Complete team wipe onto Inner Circle, and SK Gaming are running away with all of the gems.
That was a fantastic double kill from Joker. He's hidden his little spawn up there, and he waited for the exact moment to pop that hypercharge. He does need to survive in order for SK to take the countdown here. Ope is going to be forced to teleport out. Rama gets a big bubble off, but it is nowhere near enough. And that play from Joker, that aggro play to take out 2 players, is going to be the cherry on top of an absolutely dominant performance from SK here.
Beautiful stuff from SK Gaming. Really no questions as to what the outcome was going to be. But it was beautiful to watch nonetheless. Complete masterclass in Hard Rock Mine and in Open Zone. Out in the open, we did see them getting tested, but they were still able to persevere against an Inner Circle that looked really strong in the first set. And in the next 2, they completely capitulated to the pressure that SK Gaming brings to the table.
Yeah, I feel like that first set was definitely their best chance, and after a couple of misplays, it seems like they kind of lost hope of beating SK here. You got to play pretty perfect to beat a team like SK, and it seems like the dam kind of cracked, and then the floodgates were open at that point. So a little bit unfortunate they weren't able to take a set or put up a little bit of a better fight. Not surprised at all to see SK come out on top right there, and they're going to be moving up to 3-1, solidifying their spot at second in the tournament so far.
Indeed, and we have 2 more games in this match day. We finished 2 of them already. The first one was Reverso versus Eclipsar, which went to Eclipsar 3-0. Then we had SK Gaming versus Inner Circle, where SK took the 3-0 sweep. And the next 2 games, we're going to start after we take a short break of about 3 to 4 minutes. And we will see you after the break. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye. Gems are up on the screen. It's a one-time use, right? If you are slow, you're not going to get the gems. So yeah, best of luck. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OWN Valencia. I am your host, Pentacast, joined by the amazing Duncan. It is match day number 4. We finished 50% of our games today, and now we're going to be heading into match number 3, which is going to be Ping Abusers versus Team Heretics. Ping Abusers have Yannick, Cappy covers. Team Heretics have iChaos, Linane, and Roop. Ping Abusers are without a doubt the overwhelming underdogs in this tournament, right? In this matchup especially. They did sweep Inner Circle earlier on in the competition like they did in match 2, but you know, disaster has struck Team Heretics in the recent past with the exit of Drage from the roster. They had a little bit of a meltdown, so the future of the squad is quite uncertain, and Roop from Reverso is going to be replacing Drage in this tournament. So Roop's going to be playing for Team Heretics. I don't know if this is for the entirety of the BSC, but this is for this tournament at least. They have the capability to win this despite the change in the roster, but there are so many question marks in the air. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be taking the dub in this match here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the new Team Heretics is able to kind of meld together. Haven't been playing together for too long, if at all. I'm not even sure if they've had games together before as a full team. So we're going to have to see if Roop is able to kind of step into the spot that Drage was filling and maybe elevate Heretics to a new level. Maybe it's going to be a little bit disappointing, but either way, it's definitely going to be a little bit of an advantage for Ping Abusers, as they've been playing together for quite some time, and they should have a little bit more team chemistry here. But like we said, Ping Abusers has been an underdog in pretty much every game here. So we're going to have to see if Roop and Team Heretics are going to be able to kind of bounce that team back into a solid positioning here.
Yeah, and one of the things that Yannick was telling me is that there are specialists in Brawl Ball. You rarely see them struggling in Brawl Ball sets, or maybe they can get a win in a Brawl Ball set. But unfortunately for them today, none of the maps are Brawl Ball. We have Shooting Star, Bell's Rock, Dueling Beetles, Gem Fort, and Bridge Too Far. So a lot of their luck has run out, but you know, we have some bad juju going on with Team Heretics, so maybe Ping Abusers can take the dub over there. I still am curious to see how Team Heretics' future is going to be in like across the BSC, and even here they're 7th. They have 1 win, 2 losses. So having this sort of flux right now is not something that the doctor ordered.
Yep. Them and Ping Abusers both sitting at 1 and 2 right now. You got to think the winner of this is going to be feeling pretty good about their chances to sneak into the top 4 when it's all said and done. But 2 and 2 looks a lot better than 1 and 3. So the stakes are very high for both of these teams right here. I'm pretty excited to see how it's going to go. I feel like this is going to be our most volatile match of the day. Really not too sure what to expect from the new Team Heretics or from Ping Abusers either. Feel like its game could definitely go either way. I'm excited to get into the drafts here.
Yeah, for sure. And you did mention that a 1-3 is much further away from like a 2-2. So Ping Abusers and Heretics both kind of need this win, because getting them that win is going to put them within striking distance of Inner Circle and eclipse our esport. And being a top 4 team is required if you want to get to the playoffs. So it's still very, very important for them to get those dubs and execute at that level. Shooting Star is going to be the first set, and I know that this is one of your favorite maps, and it's going to be conducive to your favorite brawler, Mandy.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a little bit of sniper action. Obviously, with this meta, there has been a lot more aggro picks, but Shooting Star is one of those maps that tends to kind of break that mold there. It is typically going to be longer range no matter what, so I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit of Mandy, maybe a little bit of Piper right there, but I'm excited to see who's going to be able to kind of take the ranged brawlers and dominate with that. And obviously it's such a timing based mode as well. Like you often see one team walk away with that blue star, and then there's going to be kind of just playing defense on the back foot until the end of the game. So there can be such electric finishes after pretty boring games in Bounty, and that's one of the things that makes the mode entertaining.
And some of the brawlers that we tend to see in this map usually used to be a lot of the sharpshooters, but I feel like they've fallen out of favor in the recent past. Like we mentioned, aggro is the name of the game, and aggro is what you're going to be getting in terms of the most big brawlers. You have something like Carl, you have the Gray, you do have RT as well, and we're going to go into our draft here, and the bans are going to be Angelo, Nani, Piper, Leon, RT, and Ollie, with the first pick going to Ping Abusers. They're going to go for the Gene.
Yep, something to note here is Lumi was not banned, and we do see her come off the board for Heretics immediately after that Gene. Lumi can be so good when she just leaves her morning stars on the map. Even if she's not attacking, just the existence of her attacks on the field can make it so hard to push into her, especially with how often she gets that ice gadget. So Lumi's definitely going to be a very control-based brawler here. Same goes for Bell, who's able to get those infinite Bell traps up. If they have the lead, can make it very impossible to make a last-second push. So Heretics is going for a little bit more control positioning-based brawlers. Ping Abuser's going for that big playability of the Gene pull. Curious to see if they maybe add a max to that comp as well to make it a little bit easier for the Gene to hit that pull when it's all said and done. But overall, we are seeing a decent amount of range come off the board so far. Not too much aggro yet.
Yeah, I mean, I am quite surprised, but now Ping Abusers, with the Lumi being on the field, have to be a little careful about how they play around this, and they go for the Mandy along with the Carl. We know that Ping Abusers have some pretty good sharpshooters, Yannick specifically, great RT, so maybe that does translate to the Mandy here. I feel like Ping Abusers have the game turnaround potential. They have the Mandy along with a hypercharge, which could be great if they are able to pull it off. The Carl as well is great for engages and keeping people back, and Heretics gonna go for the Gray, so they have their own pull with the boot.
Yep, definitely not shocked to see the Gray come off the field here. That Walking Cane is so good on a map like this. Pretty much on any bounty or knockout maps, that Walking Cane is going to be absolutely devastating. But something I'm curious here is if the Ping Abusers are going to have the Carl on Flying Hook or the Fire Gadget. I have to think that they might opt for the Flying Hook in this matchup specifically, so they're able to get that lead off rip and then not have to worry as much about walking into the Bell traps later in the game. But I assume that we're probably going to be seeing Carl pick up that blue star, and then it's going to have to be Heretics hitting some shots from there.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit more traditional in terms of the compositions that we do see. Maybe with the Lumi and the Carl being here, it doesn't seem to be the case, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one does pan out. I feel like Ping Abusers need to go for the Flying Hook at the start. We go into game number 1 between Team Heretics and Ping Abusers, and already Team Heretics in such an aggro position. iChaos piloting the Lumi. Nice pull coming in from Linane. Surely they get the kill on the Gene. No, the Gene is alive, and they are able to get the kill on iChaos instead, and already Team Heretics in shambles.
That was crazy. I thought that they were definitely going to be able to get the kill on Yannick there, but he's actually going to be able to hit a pull there as well. Linane is barely going to go down, and somehow Yannick is still alive on like 2 HP right here. Can't see what's going on at the top of the map there, but Covers gets a kill as well. Likely going to go down. Chaos is barely surviving on the Lumi up there, but it looks like we are probably going to see the Ping Abusers with a pretty significant lead as of right now.
Yeah, just based off of the position that we see right now, it's pretty obvious that Ping Abusers have the lead. Ooh, whiffed super there from the Mandy, unfortunate. But there is a pull from Yannick, and that was one which landed itself on Elena the last time around. Maybe he's going to go for another one here. Don't really need to force the issue because a missed pull is going to be very bad for them, and he does overextend but doesn't get punished too much. Has to move back, and that's going to allow Team Heretics to move up once more. It seems like Covers is going to be low, gets taken out by iChaos here, and it still seems like there is a small lead for Ping Abusers, though the Mandy seems to have the hypercharge.
Yep. It looks like the Mandy super was missed onto iChaos on the left side of that map there, but Chaos is completely dominating this entire left side of the map right here as we get kicked out at the end. So not too sure how this game is going to end. I assume Ping Abusers were in the lead right there, but the positioning was on the side of Heretics for almost the entirety of that game. We have 4 seconds left. We're able to see the stars, and the Ping Abusers are going to win by 10 plus stars right there. Absolutely insane work right there. Seems like everything fell apart from Heretics despite having positioning pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, they had positioning for the entire game, like you mentioned, and on top of that, they had the Lumia as well. So the fact that they did kind of get wiped like that was kind of crazy. We're going to go into game numero dos, and hopefully this time around it favors Team Heretics, because that wasn't that confidence inspiring. Nice kill onto Covers. I was so keyed into Covers that I forgot what to say.
Yeah, no, it looks like Covers got away with the blue star last game, was not able to do the same this time around. So we are going to see Heretics with a lead, and with those bell traps, that could be so difficult for the Ping Abusers to push into. Luckily for them, they are going to have a Gene pull and a Mandy super eventually to be able to get those kills from further away, but definitely getting that initial kill is going to be absolutely massive for Heretics' chances here. Rupp is taking some heavy fire though. Covers is going to have to come in and get that kill, but it looks like Linane is going to teleport onto Copy. If Copy is able to get out of here, that would be fantastic for them. And he is, and he gets the kill on Linane. So we're going to see a 6-5 lead for Ping Abusers right now. Crazy stuff there.
Unfortunate for Linane. He was in a good position, but then he just knew that was going to happen to him. So
Yep.
good super coming from Yannick here. He might be close to his hypercharge. He still has a minute though to charge it up. The 1-star lead, and right now Ping Abusers shouldn't force the issues. They shouldn't make dumb mistakes because they do have control here. They do have the stars here, Duncan.
Yep, absolutely. The Mandy Super barely misses Rupp right there. And we do see Yannick does have his Gene Pull online. Chaos is pushing up pretty heavily, so wondering how much longer Yannick's going to hold on to that for, as their team is under significant fire. The Gene Pull is missed. Covers is going to go in to try to finish off that kill, but he is going to back off while he still has that super active. So once again, we still see a 1-star lead as the clock ticks below 30 seconds. Rupp is going to be popping his Bell Hypercharge, and they are able to secure a kill on the left side, but Copy is going to get that Mandy kill onto Linan. Once again, the 1-star lead for the Ping Abusers with that Mandy Hypercharge online as well.
No, I feel like he doesn't have a Mandy Hypercharge. He just has a super here. He goes for it. He tries to find Chaos, not able to do so. With 7 seconds left, though, without that Hypercharge, it's going to be scary. A kill is confirmed on Yannick, and now there's the lead for Heretics. They're able to get a complete team wipe and get that dub here. They've equalized the score.
That was textbook from Linan on the gray right there. He went in at the perfect time. They got so many taps in there, and they were able to pretty much get a full squad wipe to secure that win as time expired there. So fantastically played from Heretics, staying calm under pressure, able to walk away with that win. But we are tied up 1-1 going into game number 3. I have to assume we're going to see Covers on the Carl going for that blue star once again, with Chaos trying to use the ice stars to keep him away from it.
I feel like usually with a flying hook, you just expect to get the blue star. You don't expect to really die there most of the time. And the fact that Chaos was able to use the gadget to bamboozle the Carl, making sure that they can't really get the blue star earlier on, was a pretty good decision there. And in fact, Team Heretics get the blue star. They also have a kill, so they have a 3-star lead here.
Yep, Covers played it a lot safer, but Linan's going to be able to hit that walking cane right there on a stunned Yannick. Chaos is doing so much work on the Lumi right there, and Rupp it looks like Copy was able to take down Rupp actually. So we're going to see a 3-star, including the blue star lead on the side of Team Heretics right now. They do not really have to push up as well. They have pretty decent matchups here as far as the walking cane goes. He should still be able to get value out of that. The only one I'm worried about is Rupp a little bit, since he does get significantly outranged by that Mandy. But as of right now, Yannick is in a horrible position. He looks like he's getting caught out quite hard. He's going to go down to that stun there, and Covers is going to go up to try to confirm a kill, but it's really going to be all for nothing. They are down by 10 stars right now, Panda. This is looking bad.
Yeah, that's the problem that I see with Ping Abusers. When they're in the lead, they're pretty composed, but when they're in the back lines and they need to force the issue, that's when they kind of make a lot of mistakes and a lot of unforced errors. This time, though, 30 seconds left. They're down by 10 stars, and the task is almost insurmountable.
That's a big kill, though, onto Chaos there. Fantastic tap from Copy. They are only down by 5 stars, so only 2 kills needed right there. The Mandy Super does end up missing, though, and Covers is going to be fighting an uphill battle trying to get through these bell traps as well. Another stun from Chaos, and that is going to be a missed Gene Pull as well. This is more than likely going to be going the way of Team Heretics. They are going to be at 19 stars to 7. That's going to be set number 1 going to Heretics with their new roster.
Indeed, and I think it's been working out well. The first game was kind of out of sorts for Team Heretics, but I feel like they were able to address a lot of the issues and they came out swinging. And I felt like Chaos's contributions to the team were really shown when he picked up the Lumi. He was able to line up a lot of those stuns, and this is why Lumi should be banned. It is very strong. There are... In the BSC, though, it has a 0% win rate, right? It got picked up once and they lost with it, so... I think that there are ways to counterplay with Lumi, but not the way that Ping Abusers were doing it. Especially the last game, we saw them being bamboozled quite a lot. We saw the pull from the Gene being whiffed because of a super from the Gray to use a dimensional portal to get out. We saw a flying hook being used by Roop, by the Carl to go into the Team Heretic squad, and he was completely stunned out. So all in all, I think that Team Heretics played the set very clean, and it felt like, Ping Abusers were completely falling apart little by little as the time kind of dwindled by.
I think with the comp that Ping Abusers had, they had to play everything perfectly. They couldn't afford Mandy miss supers. They couldn't afford Jeed miss supers. And it ended up just being a couple too many of those, as well as covers going in a couple of times on the Carl that might have been a little bit biting off more than he could chew there. But overall, just not the cleanest gameplay from the side of Ping Abusers. Obviously, very well played to Team Heretics at the end of the day, but we're going to have to see them kind of clean that up on Ping Abusers side if they're going to want to take any sets off of Team Heretics here. Got to say, I'm impressed with the way that Team Heretics played as a team, considering they are rolling out with a new roster right here. Got to give it up to Rupp. He played a pretty good Bell there.
Yeah, he was pretty consistent with that Bell. It's obviously hard for him to go up against the Mandy, but he did a pretty good job at it, keeping the Mandy at bay. And we're gonna go into our draft next for set number 2. It's gonna be on Bell's Rock, and we have our bans. They are Hit, RT, Hank, RT, Bell, and Ollie. So double RT ban opens up another brawler for a pick here. And looking at the most picked brawlers, we have Gray, we have Angelo. RT has already been banned out, but Team Heretics going for the Angelo. They like this Angelo pick. Gray is an option. It's still available. Could go for the Gray. And you have a Gene coming along with the Lumi.
I was going to say, I did not see a Lumi ban there. I was a little surprised.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to see that Lumi come in for the second game in a row. A little bit weird to see her keep on evading these bans. Not really too sure what's going on as far as that goes. I do think that although she is a little bit worse in these longer range maps, she is still absolutely a menace, especially on a map like Bell's Rock where there's these choke points that her gadget is able to completely cover. I feel like that is a lock for Ping Abusers right there. They take the Gene as well again, which I don't really mind at all. Heretics, though, I do like the Angelo. Chaos is an absolute demon on that Pierce Angelo, so I'm definitely expecting some big things from him there. But we are going to be a little bit curious to see how they're going to be able to deal with this Lumi after Chaos kind of put on a show. Even on a map like Shooting Star, you just really can't leave the Lumi open. She's that good of a brawler, in my opinion.
I'm at a loss for words. Like, how do you let that happen? And I'm kind of confused because this map is actually not bad for Lumi. You can angle those the shots around the walls. You can pull it in. You have your super as well, which can stun. This is a pretty interesting choice from Team Heretics to let that Lumi slide, and they opt for the Tick along with the Pearl. The Tick is going to be a nuisance, but the Grom's going to be brought out by Ping Abusers. I like the Ping Abusers comp, but they have to be afraid and scared of the Pearl pick, because if you're caught napping, the Pearl might just be able to cook you.
Yeah, definitely. I like both of these comps coming down here. I feel like Heretics win condition is going to be some sneaky Angelo Pierce kills. I feel like if they're able to get a kill early in the round, that is definitely going to give them a pretty solid advantage. But we're going straight into the game here. We've got our thrower 1v1 in the middle. We have Lanan on the Pearl against Yannick's Gene on the left. And then Chaos against the Lumi on the right side. Covers on the Lumi, Chaos on the Angelo right there. So Lumi is going to be pretty significantly outranged. We see Lanan is falling back into the spawn as well. Very well played by Yannick to be able to take back some of this positioning and dodging out of the Pearl gadget. And we're just seeing a lot of shots go down. But the Grom ends up dying. Copy goes down to Rupp's mines there. And that is a brutal mistake. But Yannick almost is able to make up for it. He gets traded out right there. And we see a 2v1 with covers by himself.
Yannick anticipated that pull, but instead of using the super and going backwards, he used the super and went forward. So he did get pulled there. Unfortunately for the side of Team Heretics, for Ping Abusers, it didn't really pan out for them. But we're going to go into the second round here. Team Heretics took the first one, and it was quite comfortable for them.
Yep, I think that fell apart mostly due to an early Grom death. I believe it's Copy playing the Grom right there, but he cannot be dying to a tick mine if they're going to be able to win this game. They need all their members alive when the game is going into the final stage. That's when Lumi's going to be at her best. That's when Grom's going to be at his best. But we see Lanane is getting a very valuable gadget off on the left side. He's got to be pretty careful considering Yannick does have Gene Pull online. Rupp also has his tick hyper as well, so Copy might get pressed up here, and it looks like he's going to. Is that going to be able to secure a kill? It is not for the time being, and the Grom super is out of hand as well. So a lot of utility out for not really much to say about it. But we also see that the Lumi's on the fire gadget. A little bit confused. I don't think I've ever seen that in competitive, Panda.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to feel it out and see what's happening. But I feel like on a map like this, you would want to use the other one. Ooh, Hypercharge being pulled, and wow, they get the pull onto the ticket instead, which is not what they're looking for. A kill, a trade, in fact, and now only Yannick is the one alive for Ping Abusers as Team Heretics completely decimate the opposition.
That's unlucky. You always hate to see it when you pull a tick head, and he kind of doomed Copy with that. A little bit unfortunate there. I feel bad for Copy on the Grom. Not much he can do about it when his teammate pulls a tick head straight into him, but just once again, a little bit sloppy from Ping Abusers. They keep on falling apart at the end of these rounds, and it's just not really going to be enough to beat a team as good as Team Heretics, even with the new roster with Rupp on the team.
Indeed, we're going to go into game number 2 here off this second set. Team Heretics took the first set and the first game as well. They're looking quite comfortable, but Lana is going to be pressured by Lumi. We have the fire gadget, like you mentioned. The fire gadget doesn't do fire damage over time.
I am not even sure. I honestly exclusively run the ice gadget. I feel like it's so much better. But I have to imagine it does. There's got to be something good there. But Lana hit his fire gadget, speaking of that, over on the right side. So Yannick's going to be pretty weak right here. Rupp has fantastic positioning, just zoning them out so well with these tick mines right now. Chaos is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place over on the left side of the map. We did see Ping Abusers try to get their lane switched up, but Heretics was able to kind of get back to the matchups they wanted. So well played to them communicating their lanes in the way that they wanted them there. And it looks like the Grom shots are going to be coming down. Not really a whole lot to speak of, though. The gas is closing in, Panda. I'm excited to see how this one ends.
Yeah, with the gas closing in, I think this Lumi's lane is very, very hard to really compete against. Copy going in and very aggressively gets the kill onto Roop. He's going to be low. Lana, the last one on his team. He does not have a super to actually make some kind of play here. He's going to be going down, and it's going to be Ping Abusers taking that first round win.
Well played to Ping Abusers. Copy was able to survive on such low HP there, kind of securing the 3v1. A 2v1, maybe Lana could have tried to be able to get that win, but definitely not a 3v1 right there. Chaos is popping an early super on the left side of the map, maybe going for a cheeky kill right there. Looks like he was not able to connect more than likely, but he's just letting it fly over on the left side of the map. Yannick does have his pull online, and I do think that he's probably going to have to hit one of those onto a player and not a tickhead if they're going to want to win this. He's going up with Hypercharge. We're not able to see if he was able to secure a kill. It looks like he did get Chaos out of the way, so it's just going to be Rupp left, and we are going to see Ping Abusers finally grab a game for themselves. It's going to be 1-1 here.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Ping Abusers, I gotta say. I mean, it feels like Team Heretics were kind of out of their depth against this Ping Abuser squad in the second game. It's tied at 1 apiece, and the third one is going to dictate who actually wins this set. Obviously, Ping Abusers want this. They want to break the momentum that Team Heretics has built up, and I feel like this is the best opportunity for them to do this as we go into game number 3 off the second set.
Yep, and we're going to see Lanat and Yannick back in their 1v1 over on the left side. We're seeing the same matchups that we saw in game number 1 right now. Chaos is looking to try to get off a kill. I haven't really seen him get any of these cheeky wall-piercing kills yet. I feel like that is going to be such a big impact for Team Heretics to be able to win this game. Copy is doing all he can as far as spraying down on this left side here, but he's taking significant damage from Rupp. Lanat is also kind of just waiting for a chance to be able to use his gadget, get a good amount of damage, but he's going pretty weak to Yannick here. He's going to have to fall back for now.
I do like the lane swap coming in for Ping Abusers. They liked the matchups that they had, and just kind of lane swap to ensure that they had the same lane alignment. And this doesn't really favor Team Heretics, but I feel like this is one which Ping Abusers is kind of confident with. Ooh, now going in, he gets a kill onto Yannick, gets to take it out though himself, as Chaos going to go up against covers on Lumi, but he's not really doing a stellar job there. Rupin in an awkward position as well. A lot of control coming in. Ooh, covers gets taken down, but Chaos might be the next to fall, as Copy is able to get the kill on Rup, and that is going to be round for Ping Abusers once more. Just one round away from taking the set.
That was an insane finish. Lanat did a great job forcing the issue right there, but he was left. He left Rupp in a thrower 1v1. Copy was able to hit that last shot and secure it, but great game right there. Lanat is going to be pushing up quite aggressive onto Yannick on the right side of this map here. It looks like both teams kind of switched up their lanes for the time being. We're going to see Chaos once again fighting against the Lumi on the left side of this map. He's going to be slowed down there, but Yannick is moving up with pull. Gotta wonder if he's going to be able to pull anybody here, but he's not really going to be able to pull Lanat, especially considering he's next to a Grom. Not really the guy you want to be pulling into.
Ooh, Chaos getting a snipe on the covers. We couldn't see it, but he has confirmed it nonetheless. Copy is going to be the next to fall. Nice mines from Rup to push him forward, and now it's just up to Yannick, but since he's the lone man, I think he's just going to opt to die. He doesn't want to feed Chaos his hypercharge, but I think he has managed to do that nonetheless. Team Heretics are going to be able to get this round, and this is going to be coming down the wire. This round is what is going to dictate who wins this set here, Duncan.
Yep. Like I was saying kind of before the game, I feel like Chaos getting an early kill is going to be Team Heretic's key to victory. That's exactly what we saw in round number 2 there. So not surprised to see that being kind of an easy win for Heretics after that moment. But Chaos is pretty weak over here. He hits his Pierce shot, and him as well as Rup both have hypercharges online. I have to assume Yannick still has his gene pull as well. That is confirmed.
Oh.
But the tick is going to go down to Copy's Grom Super. That is a fantastic kill from Copy on the Grom right there. And if Lanon or Chaos are not able to get off a kill here, but they are. Oh my goodness, the Pierce shot on the Grom from Chaos is going to be enough to finally tickle him down with that poison damage. Fantastic shot from Chaos, bringing this back to a 2v2.
Dude, iChaos cannot be denied. He gets that snipe also onto Yannick. Nice stun coming in. Yannick should be able to get the kill on Lana. He's able to confirm it. It's a 1v2, and now it's up to iChaos to get this dub here, but he is going up against both the Gene and Illumi. Can he manage to get the dub? It's not going to happen, and Ping Abusers are able to get this dub and get another set. It is tied at one set apiece between these two teams here.
That was a crazy set right there. I gotta say, man, it has been Lumi both winning both of these sets that we've had here today. So I would be a little surprised to see her slip through another ban stage here. She's been picked in both of these, and she's won pretty decisively both times. I mean, these are obviously fantastic games, but I'm shocked that with Lumi continues to slip through these ban stages. I got to give it up though to Copy on the Grom. I feel like he played pretty well in a brawler that is not picked too often. He clutched up the thrower 1v1, and just overall for Ping Abusers, they were able to bag up in some of the moments that we've seen them falter in the past. So very well played to them, a very, very well earned set, and we're tied up at 1-1.
Indeed. And for people in the chats who are confused about where to get information for all of your esports needs, I've pinned it on the channel on YouTube, and it's also there in the exclamation info on Twitch. Liquipedia is probably the best source of information that you can get for anything related to Brawl Stars esports. You can see all of the rosters, all of the teams, how they've performed, what are the brawlers being picked up in the monthly finals or whichever tournament, and the spread of all of the players as well. And if you're on Twitter, make sure you follow official BSEN. They also give every single tournament update in a visual format that you can easily read and keep up to date with if you are interested in esports. So make sure you guys check out Liquipedia and follow official BSEN on Twitter if you haven't already.
Definitely great sources right there. I've been using them a ton as I prepare for my cast over here. But we are going to be moving into set number 3 as we're tied up 1-1. And it looks like our map is going to be dueling beetles right here. So we've seen knockout, we've seen bounty, we've seen more of these life-dependent game modes. But now we're going to be getting into some run-it-down action, some high HP tank options, aggro options. So I'm very excited to see the playstyle switched up a little bit going into set number 3. What are you looking out for as we hop into dueling beetles, Panda?
Dueling beetles. Chester, for sure. It has the highest pick rate. Yeah, it's a pretty good brawler, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's banned out. I feel like B is also great on lane. Lumi, if it's not banned out, which I haven't seen it be banned out twice here in a row. So if it's not banned out, it's probably going to be picked up here. And I think that it might be banned out this time around. I feel like the teams that do have Lumi tend to be better in a lot of these KG maps. So this map does lend itself to Lumi a little bit. Another brawler that we can see here is Hank. I feel like if you have a lot of tanks coming out, Hank might be a pretty decent tank counter. Gray is such a good shout here on this map, but I think as a result, it's probably going to be banned. We're going to go into our draft here now, Duncan.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to see finally Lumi is banned out, as well as B and Lu, and then Ping Abusers banning out Mortis, Barley, Gray. So not surprised to see Gray banned, not surprised to see Lumi and Lu banned as well. But we are still going to see a lot of the aggro options, like Ollie is still open, Hank is still open. So definitely expecting a little bit of aggression coming off the board pretty early here. Assuming Ping Abusers has the first pick, and indeed they do, they're going to be locking in the stew. With that speed turret, he is going to be so menacing. He's going to be able to get his teammates back into the zone faster than ever before. So I don't mind that pick at all. Although he is a little bit lower on the HP side, just with that Gasso heal, he's able to slime around on the zone, collect a little bit more time than you would expect from him. So I like this first pick from Ping Abuser, and I like the Gray Band as well. I feel like that's definitely the strongest complementary brawler on this map.
For sure. I like the ideas that you have here, and the stew coming out. You have the breakthrough, you also have the speed zone, so a lot of different options here. I feel like it keeps your cards close to your chest. Team Heretics going for a very They're going for the Chester. I like the Chester, and they're going for the Poco. We have Sustain as well. So across the board, Team Heretics are looking very, very strong. They could go for a last pick Hank. Buster is open as well as Hank, and maybe even a Frank here. And I think that I feel like Ping Abusers are going to have a very difficult time with this 4 or 5 pick here.
I completely agree. I feel like that Chester is coming out kind of to pre-counter any like Ollie or Hank action that Ping Abusers might be thinking of here. Poco is obviously so fantastic for sustaining your HP on the zone. So it's a beautiful combination. I absolutely do love it. I feel like Carl is another option that hasn't been picked up yet that we could see here, but I feel like getting the Chester ahead of that is probably a good idea too, because Chester is a decent enough matchup into Carl. So Ping Abuser is kind of going to be fighting an uphill battle here. I'm not really too sure exactly what they could go that would be fantastic into the Chester right now.
I mean, Chester is just one of the best picks right now in terms of the meta. It's quite versatile. You don't even need to be good at the Chester, right? You just need to manage to hit your hypercharge. I was seeing a stat in South America. Chester lost every single game he was in, except for the one where the hypercharge actually hit. So make sure you hit your hypercharges. It's not that hard, guys. So you can do it. And Ping Abusers decide to go for the Larry and Lori and a Maisie as well.
I honestly don't mind that from Ping Abusers. Like I said, they kind of were in a difficult spot where they can't really go as aggro as they might have wanted to with the Chester being picked, but Larry and Lori is probably the best thrower for this map outside of the Barley, who is already banned out. Maisie is a good option. If you're able to hit those shots onto Chester and Poco, it can definitely be valuable. And we see Heretics finally taking an aggro. We've been talking about aggro all day, and this is the first time we actually get to see it. But we have the Ollie coming off the board right here. So a pretty solid comp from the side of Team Heretics, a pretty solid counter comp from the side of the Ping Abusers. But I feel like Ping Abusers was kind of drafting a little bit more defensively than Heretics here. I would have to give Heretics the advantage just off comps alone.
Indeed, I like the composition from Heretics. It makes sense in this meta. You don't really see a Ping Abuser's composition. I feel like it's such a reactionary composition to what they're facing that they might be playing into the game plan of Team Heretics rather than the objective of the mode. We're going to go into set number 3 between Team Heretics and Ping Abusers. It is on Dueling Beetles, and already Lana goes down, as does Roop, and Ikeos is the last one alive on his team. It is a lead, though, for Team Heretics with 23-10, but with the position that Ping Abusers have right now, it's going to be very easy for them to catch up here, Duncan.
Yep, they are already catching up right now. It looks like if the Stu is able to survive, but he is not, Covers goes down. We see the heal coming in from Rep, so Lanane's going to be a little bit more empowered to get into the zone. Copy already has Hypercharge online, though, and he is hitting these Maisie shots so well. Definitely not the easiest brawler to consistently land your shots on. Copy is putting on an absolute Maisie clinic. Rub comes through with his Poco Hypercharge, though, so Lanan's going to be a little bit juiced up, but he gets knocked back by Copy once again. And so far, this is looking like a little bit of a Maisie masterclass, even though we are pretty even up on the score so far.
Indeed, Lana is just staying alive for so long. We finally do have the Laurie coming in, gadget to keep him alive here. Lana finally falls. Copy is also on the zone, and very good control from Ping Abusers right now. Heretics are in their spawn. They're not in a great spot to get out of that situation here. Hypercharge being popped by Covers. Lana going in with a prayer, trying to find a kill here. Can he do it? It's not really looking like it's possible, but Roop has kept him alive and has kept the team relatively healthy here.
Yeah, Roop is doing a great job just giving them enough HP to be able to collect some of this zone time, but Lanan has not been able to land any of his Ollie supers. He's mostly just using them for mobility at this point. He is going to probably be able to get Covers out of this corner, but maybe not as quick as I might have originally imagined. But we are coming down to the wire in this game. Team Heretics finally peaking over 90% here, and Lanan is going to get a pretty easy kill onto Yannick. It looks like they are going to be putting the fries in the bag. That is going to be game number 1 of Dueling Beetles, going straight into the hands of Team Heretics right there.
Beautiful stuff coming in from Team Heretics. It did seem like Lana was caught off as out of his element there, but I think that he was fine with just using his super and his gadgets just for the mobility of the whole issue. And we saw Ikeos did not mess around with that Chester at all. He got his wall breaks that he wanted. When the hypercharge was available, he just used it on Covers. Did not want any shenanigans whatsoever. We're gonna go into game number 2 off this third set. Team Heretics with the first one here, and are looking quite strong already, Duncan.
Yep, they are going to be taking a pretty easy early lead with that initial heal coming in from Rup. Lanan's got himself in a tough spot. He is going to go down with the help of Covers and the Lori right there. So we're going to see Heretics fall back off the zone. Looks like a pretty similar start to what we saw last game, with Heretics getting a pretty healthy lead, getting their kills and like trying to climb back a little bit, but It looks like it's going even worse for them than it did in game number 1. Haven't really been able to step foot on that zone right now. Lenon has super, as well as Copy, though, and he blasts him back. And he's going to have Hypercharge online already. But as well as Copy's playing on this Maisie, he's just really not able to do much as far as zone time goes. They are going to be down by over 50% already.
Indeed, it's such a great start for Team Heretics. They've completely shut down Ping Abusers, but I feel like right now Ping Abusers probably have their best opportunity in shot, but without Hypercharge from Poco, kept everybody healthy, got all the heals off, Copy rather on a tear there. He gets taken out though by IKEOS at the end, so a little bit of signs of life from Ping Abusers, but it has been completely nipped in the bud by Team Heretics.
Absolutely, and they're just all sitting here as a group getting so much zone time right here. Rupp has just done such a good job sustaining his teammates' time onto the zone. Chaos is going to be trying to hold it down for the time being. They have less than 10% left, only 6% remaining for the side of Team Heretics. And with the Poco on the squad, you have a hard time imagining they aren't going to be able to blast in there, especially once Lenon uses a super. Ping Abusers are holding on for dear life with everything that they have. But at this point, it's got to be a matter of time before they're just able to step foot back onto the zone. But they're doing everything they can. Covers is getting some great work in. But at this point, I think that is going to be it. And we're going to see Heretics take a 2-1 lead over Ping Abusers after a dominant performance on Dueling Beetles there.
Yeah, beautiful stuff coming in from Team Heretics. Felt like Ping Abusers were out of their depth there, and the sustain from the Poco, along with just the good plays and positioning by both IKEOS and Lana, just made it very difficult for Ping Abusers to compete. We did see Copy trying to pop off with his Maisie, and I felt like the Maisie pick was a pretty good pick all around. I just think that it was probably slightly lackluster just because of the sudden burst damage that, for example, Chester can completely catch you off guard, and he tried his best, I gotta say, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a very well played Maisie game, but there's a reason we don't see Maisie very often. She's not really that strong of a brawler, and even if you do execute her very well, I just don't really know if she has that real spot in the competitive meta that she once did. So not too surprised to see Heretics walk away. I do think that they had comp with the Chester, with the Poco, but overall, we're going to have to see Ping Abusers. I mean, it seems like they tried to pull something out of their bag of tricks with that comp right there. Didn't end up working out. Maybe they'll go back to something a little bit more meta, but overall, they are definitely going to be up against the ropes right here as we're going into set number 4, which is going to be Gem Fort. Definitely another map where we're going to see a lot of aggro options on the board.
Indeed. We're going to go into our draft here for Team Heretics Ping Abusers on Gem Fort. We have our bans are going to be Ash, Nita, Jackie, Carl, Lumi, and Ollie. And looking at this map, we do have a lot of aggro brawlers being brought out here. It's like, say, Chester. Buster is another one as well. Both of these brawlers are open. Lumi, luckily, has been banned out. Another brawler that we tend to see here is Max, along with a Janet. It's pretty good, and obviously Jean and Gray, you can't go wrong with them. Team Heretics going for one of the best tank brawlers in the meta right now is going to be the Buster on Gem 4 as their first pick, though.
Yeah, not super surprised to see Buster first pick. As far as tanks go, he does have a little bit more versatility into some of his counters. Obviously, having that shield can be so useful. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't see Gray banned, and as expected, he is going to be picked with the fish on his side as well. So they're going to be able to teleport that fish into the middle of the map. Can cause for so many hectic plays. Heretics is going to counter that fish with a Chester. They also grab a bow as well. Maybe they'll be putting some bow mines on where that Gray teleport wants to go. So definitely a little bit of mind games coming in with the Gray and the bow on opposing sides right here. But overall, man, I really do like both of these comps so far. I feel like Ping Abusers will likely add another more aggro option right here, but it's going to be a Tara instead. So they're going for more of that game-changing play type of ability right there. Obviously, it could work out very well, could not do anything if she's not able to land any supers, but overall, man, these are both big play comps from both sides.
Indeed. I mean, I don't know exactly how this is going to be favoring either of these teams, but I feel like this is a massively aggro comp coming in from both these teams. I like Ping Abusers a little bit more because they do have the Terra, and I like the classical Terra gravity being such a huge game changer, as well as the fact that Ping Abusers have a way to get in and out, whereas Team Heretics do have a little bit of sustain because of the amount of HP that they bring to the table. We're gonna go into set number 4, the fourth one here, and Team Heretics got 2 to Ping Abusers 1.
Yep, we're going to see both teams kind of crowding the middle of this map very heavily. We see a teleport come down from Yannick already, which is going to be fantastic for covers. He's going to be able to be so much more mobile, as he's going to be able to pop all of those bow mines with really no trouble either. So it's going to be 4 gems sitting on Lenane's head as the tank. Not really exactly what you want, but overall not the worst thing in the world. Heretics would rather have those gems on Lenane than have them on the side of Ping Abusers right there. So we're going to be seeing, it looks like we did have our view switch too. So we're going to have Ping Abusers in the blue here and Heretics on the red team here. A little bit confusing there, but should be able to hang out there as the Tara super connects. Chaos goes down.
Indeed. Ooh, a little bit of stun on Yannick, but he manages to survive there because the room made by covers. But Roop and I guess iChaos on the Chester are just making a little bit of a stand here on this mid, but they have to contend against Copy. Ooh, Hypercharge was popped by Lana, but Covers is able to get the kill with his own Hypercharge as the response. Copy coming to help out his teammate, but Covers goes down to the bow mines, and Roop has some more bow mines to place on this field here.
Yeah, the bow mines have been absolutely causing so much havoc right here. Covers looks like he's going in through the gray teleport though. Those, oh my goodness, the Tara pole is going to get so much value right there. But we see the pets coming down. It looks like we are going to be tying up on the gem count here. Ping Abuser should be taking a 1 gem lead, and there's only 1 more bow mine sitting there. So unless we're able to get some more bow mines here, the teleport train is looking like it's in quite the perfect position for the side of Ping Abusers. Copy is going to go down after using his Tara super there, so not the best look in the world, but they do have 10 gems right now. So we're going to see Ping Abusers kind of fall back, and it looks like the Heretics is going to have to kill Yannick in order to win this game.
Ooh, Copy gets taken down by Lana. Lana did use his hypercharge to get there. He is going to be aggressing with iChaos. iChaos misses his hypercharge, and that is going to be enough for Ping Abusers to take game number 1.
Yep, with that great teleport online, there's not really much that Chaos can do with that hypercharge. He's got to let it out of his hands at some point, but overall, not a very clean matchup over there from the side of Team Heretics. Ping Abusers got their setup that they wanted quite quickly. I really did like the positioning of the gray teleporters. And it looks like we're switching back, so Heretics is going to be in blue once again. Ping Abusers is going to be in red once again. We see Lenane immediately get a gadget kill over on Copy on the left side. Covers is going to be pretty weak as well, and we see Heretics taking full control of the gem mine as of right now.
Yeah, great start coming from Heretics here. Super used by Lana just to make sure that he pushes Gray out at that point there. He's going to be contending against Covers on this left-hand side. Obviously not the best matchup for him there. Covers doing a bang-up job of just making Lana go back and just try to survive. He's been pushed back all the way to his literal spawn point, but he finally does get the hypercharge though.
Somehow he was still able to survive through all that. We see some bow mines going down in the middle of the map as Lana is taking the long way around town, trying to pinch up from the top of the gem mine right here. We see Yannick has 2 gems in the middle, but he might be in a lot of trouble here with the gadget coming in. He does get the teleport out, so that's going to be a good teleport right there. Obviously, he kind of had to use it, but either way, the positioning is not bad for his team at all. The Hank should be able to fly right into the zone like that, and Rupp is going to be under heavy fire right here. Looks like he's not going to go down yet, but Covers is providing so much pressure with that gray teleport. The Hank is such a menace.
Indeed, and now Lana's going to be circling on this left-hand side, trying to ensure that he keeps the members of Ping Abusers completely contained, but Chaos getting taken out is not going to be the best situation for them as Covers goes down, goes on the right. He's going to be going ham, but he should be taken out here. No, he does get taken out by Lana, narrowly so, and Lana is going to be pretty low as Copy tries to get the kill, but Chaos is able to get a response here, and now somehow there is a countdown for the side of Team Heretics.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. They obviously have the gems spread out quite evenly right here, but Chaos's hypercharge is able to kind of give them that countdown when it matters the most. They are all going to be getting under heavy fire from Covers on the fish right here, but I think that they are going to be safe thanks to Lanan's 360 Buster hypercharge shield. That is going to be 1-1 as we go into our next game. We are going to have to see the Ping Abusers win this if they want to extend this set.
Yeah, it is now match point for Team Heretics, and I do have to mention that Team Heretics have been playing this one pretty well. I feel like Ping Abusers are slightly out of their depth. Maybe they can get something going because the fish was doing so great in game number 1, and in game number 2, it wasn't really the result they're looking for. Now Covers going up against Lana gets taken out almost immediately right there as well. But a good start for Ping Abusers as they already have 3 gems to their name.
Definitely. The early game is so important on Gem 4 right here. Obviously, the earlier they're able to get that gray teleport up and the more precise they're able to be with that positioning. We saw last game, Yannick kind of had to dip out from a sticky situation with his teleport. Wasn't able to get it in the exact spot he wanted, but right now he's got it. We're tied up at 3-3 even. So we're going to see when he gets his teleport down. But Lanan is causing a lot of issues up on this left side. He's going to take out the gem carrier as well. And it looks like he's going to be trying to get out of here. Covers is probably going to get that kill right there. But either way, he delivers the gems back to Rupp. Pretty much exactly what he could have asked for right there.
Quick question, chat. Do you know which brawler copy is playing? Because I feel like IKEOS is completely wiping him and deleting him off the map repeatedly. I say that. It's Caster's curse as IKEOS gets taken down by a gravity for copy.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about that Tara Chester matchup, but Chaos has definitely been coming out on top for a majority of this game. Obviously, Copy is kind of just working for that hypercharge super. Hopefully, he'll be able to make a big play at the end of it all. But right now, Ping Abusers are on the back foot right there as we see Chaos go down with that Chester hypercharge. Yannick might die there too, and it looks like he is in fact going to die. If Heretics are able to pick up these 2 gems, we're going to see a countdown already, but Covers is doing everything in his power to stop that, but he walks right through the bow mines. That's going to be 10 gems on the head of Rupp here.
Yeah, it's crazy how good IKEOS has been on this right lane against the Terra, and now Terra's going in because he get taken out by Luna. Luna's done a bang-up job against Covers on his lane. I gotta say, Team Heretics was playing this set pretty cleanly.
That was a fantastically played set from them. The Bowmines got so much value at the end of game number 3 right there. The Chester gameplay was flawless. The Buster gameplay was flawless. Overall, no complaints from the side of Team Heretics. Definitely a very well-earned win over the Ping Abusers here. 3-1, so Ping Abusers were able to grab a set, but overall, pretty dominant in this first showing that we're seeing from this team of Lana, Chaos, and Rupp.
Yeah, I mean, just going based off of what I said earlier on in the match day today, I didn't expect Team Heretics to do all that great because it is a different team, right? But they did pretty well, all things considered. I think that maybe this was a favorable outcome for them, and I think that this is something that they can build upon going into future match days and future tournaments. I'm not sure if this is going to be their new squad for all the tournaments or not, but I think that it certainly, gives me some confidence in their abilities.
100%. If Rupp is doing a little bit of a tryout, then he definitely did pretty well today.
Yeah.
He'll probably get the call back for day 2. So looking for the best for Rupp right there. Heretics definitely showing with a strong showing though. Obviously a lot of drama, a lot of energy going down on that team over there. So it's good to see them be able to get a win under their belts, and hopefully this will be the first of many for Team Heretics going forward.
Indeed, and we have some free gems for you guys. Make sure you scan the QR code. It's first come, first served. If you see that it's already been used, you probably were snoozing a bit too long. Unfortunate for you. And once more, congratulations to Team Heretics for the 3-1 win. We're going to go into our last game, which is going to be Reply Totem versus Humble. And for you guys who are not aware, Reply Totem have Mori, Maru, Angel Boy. Humble have Semantic, Boss, and Luki. One of these teams has qualified for the Brawl Cup, which is Humble. Now, Totem has faced Humble in the recent monthly finals and took them all the way to set 5, but ended up falling in their endeavor. Humble managed to qualify for the Brawl Cup, but unfortunately for them, they failed to capture the monthly finals this time to SK Gaming. Humble also right now has a higher than 50% win rate in EMEA against every other team, and against Reply Totem in particular, that's north of 75% of the game. So that means that 3 in every 4 games we see Humble winning against Reply Totem. The team in green has lost its sheen, and they might get Humble once more, but I'm here to see what they can probably pull out of their hat.
That was a bar right there, Panda. I'm super excited to see what goes down here. We've got 2 of the best teams in the region, though, and Humble is our only undefeated team throughout our first 3 days of league play. So they're looking to solidify their spot. 4-0 pretty much guarantees them a spot in the top 4 of this league play. So I guess it would guarantee them a spot in the top 4 right there. So Humble's got a lot to play for here. Obviously, Totem would be able to go to 3-1 with a win, would drop down to 2-2 with a loss. So we're going to see if Humble can remain at the top by themselves in a league of their own as far as OWN goes. After beating SK in week 3, though, it seems like that was probably going to be their toughest challenge, but Totem is not far off. That's going to be definitely very interesting to see which of those top 3 teams is going to grab that top spot.
Indeed, and honestly, the Reply Totem doesn't want that 2-1. Sorry, they don't want that 2-2. They want to make this a 3-1, and they would also take down Humble a peg, right? That would make it parity for Humble, SK, and Reply Totem, with all three being at 3-1. Obviously, Humble doesn't want that to happen, and they want to ensure that they still have their momentum going into the Brawl Cup along with SK Gaming, so they want to get this dub.
Definitely. I mean, you always want to win every game that you step onto the field, but when we have two teams that know each other as well as these two teams know each other, there's obviously going to be a little bit more to play for, especially considering that they just faced off recently in the BSC monthly finals. So I'm super excited to see which team, whether Humble is going to be able to run it back or if Totem is going to be able to pull off an upset after losing in the last one. They've got to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and this is the time to show that they do belong in this tier 1 of EMEA teams.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they are what, in the second rung on the leaderboard here, so they aren't that far off. They just need to cement their position here, and I think a win here would be great for Reply Totem. But the ask is so much. Like, they're not only going up against the World Finals, World Champions. They're going up against a team which is second seed in EMEA this time around, and you know, both SK and Humble are favorites for the Brawl Cup, along with, I would say, the East Asian squad. So I think it's very difficult for Reply Totem, but I think that the time for the rebuild is now, because we're at the end of the first split. In the second split, we get double the points, so consistency is important throughout the year, but there's a possibility for teams that are able to shine in the second half to make it all the way to LCQ and World Finals. So it's still not over till the Fat Panda sings.
The best time to peak is at the beginning of the season. The second best time to peak is right now. So hopefully they'll be able to lock in and kind of take the second half of the season by storm. I have high hopes for Totem. I do personally view them as the third best team in this region. So I expect a lot from them here. I think even if they aren't able to edge out Humble today, they're at least going to give them a run for their money. I would be pretty disappointed to see anything less than 4 or 5 sets in this matchup here, Panda.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see some really great games, and I feel like a lot of times Reply Totem sets, even if they're a sweep, right, even if they're like a 3-0, oftentimes it happens because of some lapse in judgment here and there. Most of the games are pretty like even, but some lapses in judgment are capitalized by teams like Humble and SK. So I think that, you know, we're still going to see very close games, but hopefully we don't see the small little errors here and there, because at this high level and competitive, those micro plays make all the difference, and that's what we're seeing with Reply Totem not really being as, you know, iconic as they were in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Humble's a team that makes very few mistakes, so definitely expecting them to come out with clean gameplay as always. Totem's gonna have to step up to that standard of play, but I think that if any team is capable of doing it besides SK, it's got to be Totem right here. So I'm expecting big things here, especially from Angel Boy. I feel like he's going to be the player to watch on the side of Totem. I feel like if Angel Boy is able to pop off the way that we know he's capable of popping off, he can definitely give Humble a run for their money, but Humble is such a sturdy team, such a consistent team. It's definitely hard to find any cracks in their armor.
Yeah, for sure. And Angel Boy, I love seeing him play all of his aggressive brawler picks. He's so good at Melody. He's so good at Gray. He's able to, even if he has a range disparity, he's able to outplay on the Gray so consistently that it's kind of crazy how good this man is. I just hope that, you know, sometimes he doesn't get distracted by the shiny keys and goes for it. Like, sometimes I feel like he over aggresses, especially in like sets which are in bounty, like for example in hideout. I've seen him do that a few times, so maybe if they're able to clean that up, we might see something closer. We might be getting the teams getting into lobbies. It's taking a little bit longer than expected, so apologize for that. The maps though here, Duncan, do you want to talk a little bit about them?
Absolutely, yeah. So our first set we are going to have on Gem Fort. We have seen a bunch of, we saw Gem Fort in the last set actually. That's going to be 2 Gem Forts in a row, but obviously a map that is very aggro dependent. The Gray is definitely a very popular pick. Bo and Chester are very popular picks. So definitely expecting tanks, tank counters, and tank enablers such as the Gray. So that's kind of what I'm expecting in that first set. After that, we're going to be going to Bridge Too Far, Pinhole Punt for set 3, Layer Cake, and Gold Arm Gulch to round us out if necessary for set 4 and set 5. So just kind of the way that the cards are falling, we are going to have our more aggressive game modes in the beginning of this matchup, and then our more passive bounty and knockout stuff near the end. So if we are going to be pushing to a set 5, we're going to have a lot of aggro plays out of the way already as we get into a little bit more ranged options at the end of the game.
Indeed. Gem 4, Risifar, Pinhole Punt, Lyric Cake, and Gold Arm Gulch going to be the 5 random maps that we have for today, for match number 4 of today. It is overall match 16 in the tournament. This is match day number 4. This is our last match of the day. So if you are with us so far, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow Duncan on all of his socials. I believe on Twitch, he's Duncan Brawl Stars. On YouTube, he's Duncan Brawl Stars. I have a link in my description, and exclamation info will get you all of Duncan's social media tags as well. Make sure to follow him. He does daily content. He also live streams twice a week, I believe he said. So, you know, lots of content. He's a really engaging guy, and just look at him. He's eye candy. So, you know, why wouldn't you?
Much appreciated, Panda. Yeah, but I appreciate anybody who checks me out there, man. We post ranked games every single day. So if you want to watch a little bit more draft, if you don't get enough of the draft from watching Panda cover these best players, then maybe you can watch somebody who's a little bit worse at the game and have a good time with me over there. But that's all the self-promo I'll do for today.
Buddy, I am Diamond. I am hard stuck Diamond. What do you mean better player? I don't play good.
No, I'm talking about these guys. I'm talking about SK.
Okay,
I'm talking about Humble. Nah, don't worry, Panda. We were understood on that, man. Don't worry about it.
Bro cooked me.
We'll get you to legendary one of these days, man. Don't worry about it.
One of these days for sure. And we can talk about like what to expect on Gem Fort, or we can go into our draft because we have it finally.
Yep, so we're going to be seeing the bans come in. It's going to be Janet, Lumi, Chester from Reply Totem, and Buster Gray and the Fish band out from the side of Humble. It looks like Humble might have been watching that last set. They don't want anything to do with any of that Fish Gray Buster combo. They're going to be grabbing the Ollie though, so they're taking the last other meta aggro brawler with the first pick of the draft. Maybe a little bit early for that, but overall not super surprised to see that at all. Definitely a pretty hard brawler to counter out unless you have a Poco, so wouldn't be surprised to see Totem grab a Poco just to counter out those Ollie stuns. And it looks like we're going to have Jackie and Max coming through for Reply Totem. Not surprised to see the Jackie in there. I feel like her damage is very good into other brawlers that are a little bit more aggressive. So we have the Max as well, with giving the Jackie the additional speed right there. But overall, man, I feel like the Max is kind of a replacement for the Gray with the Jackie strategy. You want to get your Jackie as much speed as possible, get her into the best position that she's able to get into. But overall, going to be a lot of damage coming onto the side of Reply Totem. Definitely going to have more than enough to be able to deal with that Ollie right there. What do you think about that so far, Panda?
I think that it does address the Ollie, but still the Ollie has the turnaround potential, right? If you can get those hypnosis off as a team, you can probably get a kill, but it really it's a little scary doing that against, say, a Jackie Max composition, because like if you try to aggress as a Ollie, the Jackie can like run away or he can pull you in and completely wreck you. So be careful about it. It's a double-edged sword for sure against the composition that Totem's bringing to the table here. And we do have our next 2 picks from Humble, and we have Stu along with the Nita. So I'm a little surprised about the Nita. The Stu, it makes sense to me because, you know, Stumantic and Stu is just so good with the breakthroughs and also the speed zones. The Nita is a little bit of a wild card for me, or maybe I'm just reading this wrong.
I don't really understand it either. We have seen Nita into Jackie earlier today, and it did not work out very well at all. I believe that was Inner Circle that tried that, and it just kind of got absolutely blasted, ran through. So I don't really understand the point of the Nita. I mean, it's fine into Max, but into Jackie, I think it's going to struggle a little bit. I guess that they wanted a tank counter, and without the Chester, without the Lumi, I guess that was the last thing that they could think of right there. But overall, not my favorite draft from Humble, especially considering they're a team that I usually am always in love with the drafts for. But like, yeah, Carl was still on the board. Not too sure why Humble opted to go for Anita instead. Reply Totem kind of gets a free last pick Carl right there. I like Reply Totem's comp a lot more, Panda.
Yeah, I think the Reply Totem's comp has merit. They have speed, they have engage, they have disengage as well, they have the tank. All of their bases are covered. I don't know if I agree with this Nita pick. I feel like it's being outclassed. Maybe we're being trolled by production, because I don't think Nita holds up against the competition we're going up against. It gets outranged, it gets outgunned, and everything. We go in a game here. Amber is going to be there with the Max and the the Jackie for the side of Reply Totem.
So I guess we did get trolled by production, but not in the way that we might have thought. There is still, in fact, a Nita right there, but instead of the Carl, we're going to have Maru on the Amber. But so far, it looks like Humble is taking a pretty significant gem lead as of right now. They have 5-1. They have full positioning in the middle of the map right here. It's going to be tough to push into Boss right now as he's trying to get a pinch off on Maru. Fantastically played by Boss and Luke to be able to get that kill. And they are not stopping right there. The entire team of Totem is respawning. Humble is absolutely dominant right now.
Okay, I am saying wow, but at seemingly dumb plays or whatever. But I just love the way Humble play together. You saw Boss getting very low, and then you saw like a switch coming in where Lukey takes the brunt of the hits and make sure that his teammates alive while getting the kill on the other side. I just love the sublime team plays coming in from Humble. On the other side, though, Reply Totem are also trying to do their own here, but they are facing a 5-gem deficit, Duncan.
Yeah, they are definitely fighting an uphill battle right here as the Nita Hyper Bear gets absolutely deleted there. Semantic's trying to like pinch them out from the bottom, but Mari and Maru are going to be kind of cutting off their escape plan right here. So Lukey is on 10 gems. If they're able to kill Mari, it's probably over, and that should more or less do it right there. I'm not too sure if the Nita pick did a whole lot, but overall I saw multiple bears come down from Semantic, so maybe we're hating on the Nita a little bit too hard. Overall, just the team plays from Humble were too much to overcome there.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the Nita was just to like remove a little bit of the ammo that Reply Totem can bring to the table. We're going into game number 2 of this first set of this last match of the day. Humble took game number 1 in this first set, and already we're off to start.
Yeah, we're going to have to see Totem do a little bit more at the beginning of the game. It looked like by the time we loaded into the lobby, they were already bullied out of the mid. We see the gadget come out from Boss. He's not rocking with the Ollie jump. He's rocking with the other Hypnosis gadget, and that was able to get a kill on Maru immediately. And we see Mari go down, so it's just Angel Boy. And just overall, man, it seems like Totem, no matter what they do, cannot find a way to get into the gem mine inside of this gem fort right here. And it's just Humble just playing too well as a team. They're combining for all the kills that they need, and they are just holding the line so very well, Panda.
Beautiful stuff. Boss going in with his super, not able to get Hypnosis, and he gets taken out as well. There is a bear coming in, tries to get the stun, a cheeky one on Angel Boy, but he is making sure that he's keeping track of whatever Semantic is bringing to the table. Hypercharge being popped by Lukey is able to get the kill onto Mori as well. Angel Boy is going to be following, and the last one alive on the team is going to be Maru. Great start from Humble here. They are running away with this 10 gems to 0.
They're absolutely running away with this. Lukey got a little bit aggro there, but it seems like he knew his limits. They are going to be backing off. Boss is the only one who's going to be able to go down on the side of Humble. He's doing a fantastic job tanking, taking some of this attention away from his teammates. With the last 4 seconds, it looks like Semantic did get pulled, but it's not enough. With the help of his bear, they're going to be able to finish that off. And that was overall a very, very, very dominant set from Humble. They were never at any risk of losing that, in my opinion.
It was just crazy. The team plays were on point. The individual plays coming in from Humble were on point. I wouldn't say that Reply Totem did anything wrong or bad. It was just that Humble were that clean. They were just so dominant in every single interaction that it just felt like Reply Totem were out of sorts there. It's hopefully that we get something going on in set number 2, which is a response to the aggression that Humble brought to the table. But I just gotta say, it was a masterclass in how to play any composition from Humble there. It was just beautiful to see the ebb and flow of the aggression and then doubling back when they needed to, just picking up the slack for their teammates. Beautiful stuff from Humble.
I didn't see a single moment where Totem was able to get set up on that gem mine the entire set. The just ability of them to hold down the fort was actually a little bit ridiculous there. They were never able to get pushed into. They just played so well. They got the countdown. They never died with countdown. Just such a clean game from Humble. And that's what I keep reiterating about Humble and SK, man. It's just flawless, clean gameplay day in and day out. These teams are so consistently good. It's got to be daunting to face against a team like that isn't really going to mess up. Totem's got to make sure that they kind of step up and elevate their play to that level if they're going to be able to force us into a set 4 or even a set 5.
Yeah, that is quite far away, but right now we're going to be going into Bridge Too Far. We have a lot of different brawlers that can be brought to the table, but one which I feel like predominantly made sure that a lot more people pick is Colt. It has a very high pick rate. It has a very high win rate as well, so wouldn't be surprised to see Colt being brought out. It's definitely not going to be a ban. I don't think Colt is that centralizing in the meta that it is a ban, but it is definitely such a great brawler for damage output, and the fact the lanes are so thin, makes it easier for Colt to hit a lot of these shots here. And something to be scared about is something like a Chuck, which can get onto the point, which I have seen being brought out by teams like Popper Supermassive, and they have done quite well.
Yeah, I think kind of along the lines of the Chuck, something that I know Semantic is a fan of is the Lily in Heist as well. I feel like that could be something that they go with the last pick that could do a lot of damage. I know we saw in our first matchup of the day, very briefly, we saw Lily in Heist work out fantastically well, but I've seen Semantic pull it off before. I know he's a fan of the Lily, and you can definitely get a ton of safe damage on a map like Bridge Too Far. You pop that gadget, you run in a straight line, you spawn on the safe, and then you just get like a free 20% right there. So Chuck is definitely one of those dive brawlers. Melody is one of those dive brawlers. Lily and Daryl are two of those other dive brawlers. So I'm expecting a lot of those type of dive straight onto the safe, base racy type brawlers. And then besides that, like you're saying, with the Colt, with the Piper, with the Angela, some of those more ranged options that can still get a ton of safe damage. Overall, Bridge Too Far is a pretty versatile map though.
That's true. And some things that we bring on lane for this map are things like, say, Amber or maybe a Lola. I feel like Amber is really great for just the grass burn to ensure that you don't have a place to really refactor if you're kind of back in the team. Another reason to go for the Amber is that it's just like an oil slick on the middle of the map, and that's like a huge hazard to go through. And obviously the fire damage on the safe. There are lots of different reasons as to why to go Amber, and I think all of them are great. Lola is another brawler which does similar things that Amber can do, as in sustain on the lane because of the freeze frame, but Lola is going to suffer against the Amber. So you might see Amber being brought out with the Lola maybe as a possibility, or it might be brought out as a response. Bo is also another brawler that can be done for the same reason. As we go into our draft here, we have our bans. They're going to be Eve, Melody, Piper, Lumi, Colt, and Angela. I said Colt doesn't get banned out, but Humble doesn't want any Colt shenanigans.
Fair enough. Colt has indeed got banned out. Not surprised by really any of these bans. Angelo and Eve obviously are so menacing because of their ability to walk on water, and we see that theme running into our first pick, which is the other water walking brawler, Juju. I definitely think that it is a fantastic brawler for kind of holding it down here. Maybe not as good for safe damage, but a pretty solid defensive brawler, as well as that Grigri's health is just so daunting. Like 7.2 KA health, I think, for the Grigri. It can be very difficult for some of these brawlers to take out, but overall, I feel like the Juju is mostly just going to be posted in the middle of that map on that water, trying to make sure that nobody passes her without permission.
Yeah, I feel like Juju's meant to slow down the pace of the game so that you have a little bit more control over how the game's going to be played. And I feel like it's like an orchestra, right? So Juju is the conductor there, and that's why you go for that Juju pick early on. It feels seemingly like it doesn't make sense because the lanes are so long, but you can get yourself in positions with the water where it's not that hard to really operate as Juju here. And that's why it does have a pretty high pick rate, and it does have a decent win rate as well. When you couple up the Juju with a Lola, or if you couple her up with the Colt, it has a very high win rate as well, but the Colt's being out of the situation here. Humble's gonna go for the Bull along with the Brock. Both of those really great brawlers here. I'd like the pick of the Bow. It addresses something like a Lola pretty well. It addresses the Amber, certainly a little bit, not hard counters, but soft counters. And each of the Bow's shots do enough damage that you kind of need to go back and ensure that you don't really feed the team of Humble. So I like these picks coming in from Humble.
I like Bo a lot here. He's got good enough range to be able to hang with some of the snipers, but at the same time, the reason you bring out the Bo here is for those mines. He's able to get 3 mines onto the safe. He's able to get 5 mines onto the safe. He's able to stack that and get 8 mines onto the safe. And with that tripwire gadget, you can pop them all at the same time, do an absolutely disgusting amount of damage. So that's really what I think the Bo is coming in here for. Kind of a little bit more of a base racy brawler than he used to be since the addition of that hypercharge. Brock, on the other hand, I feel like is a pretty solid shout as well. He does have wall break ability, which might be able to counter out the Juju a little bit more. But we are going to see Totem absolutely try to run them down with the Train Man himself. Chuck is going to be locked in as well as the Amber. And then Humble is going to take the 8-bit last pick. So we see all 3 brawlers from Humble have very, very significant damage. Totem, on the other hand, has their like kind of a little bit more like even or like distinct roles right there with the Chuck trying to get that safe damage, with the Juju trying to play a little bit more defense and control, and then the Amber kind of being a mix of the both. But we are hopping into set number 2 here. We're gonna have Mari in the mid, Angel Boy on the left side, and then Mariu's gonna be trying to set up his Chuck post as we get into this game here.
Indeed, already we have a little bit of a setup going on. Mori is being quite aggressive here. He's doing a pretty good job of staying alive, and I think Luki might be in trouble here as he might go down. He's going to be going down, and a lot of damage is going to be coming down on this humble safe by Reply Totem, and Mori is making sure that he's on defensive duty. That's his job. His job is to shut down people, and we already see the safe doing that invincibility thing that it does, which is a rework of Heist.
Yep, we're going to see both safes hit their first like shield tier, whatever you want to call it here, both at 75%. Mari is just kind of absolutely being a menace right here. He's doing so much work, like evading. I have no idea how he was able to survive that long, but cleared up so much space for his teammates. They're able to get a lot of damage, and they knocked that safe down to the second tier. They got 50% to 70% on the other side. Semantic's going to be trying to solo on this left side of the map here. If he's able to get onto safe with his damage booster, that is going to be a ton of damage. They do get the kill, but the booster goes down. Either way, the full clip gadget coming through, and that is going to get their safe down to 50%, but only 24 remaining on the side of Humble's safe, and the Totem has a Chuck, so that's more or less going to be game over in my opinion.
Indeed, just look at the amount of damage that Reply Totem are putting down on this Humble safe, and yes, we did see the hypercharge mines come down on the opposing safe for Humble on the Reply Totem safe, but it just didn't do the damage that they wanted, and as a result, we get Totem's first ever win today.
Yep, Totem's first win. Hopefully we're able to get a couple more coming down from them, but their comp looks fantastic right there. I feel like they kind of had like their own distinct roles for their brawlers. The Chuck was able to get so much damage there, whereas the side of Humble was kind of just waiting on Semantic to be able to kind of do it all on his own right there. And I mean, I feel like he's going to need a little bit more assistance than that. I didn't see any bow mines landed on the safe throughout the entire course of the game, but we're moving in here now. Mari once again is being such a menace, just kind of wiggling these shots, evading the opponents, and giving time for Maru to get his Chuck post set up. So I feel like he's definitely enabling the Chuck to be a better brawler, and he's doing a fantastic work on the Juju so far.
Indeed, but now he's going to be up to a very difficult test. We have Luki going in with the super. He's going to be trying to survive, get as much incendiary damage on the safe, and that's exactly what he's doing. More, he's not able to get the kill there. He gets taken out, and things are looking for bad to worse for Reply Totem as Humble are hammering down against that Totem safe.
They are hammering the safe. The Chuck posts are set up now, so we're going to see Totem probably start to come back a little bit. If Mari's able to evade them on the left side, that would be big, but he goes down. Amber's doing all she can in order to keep them off this safe, but only 25% left. And we see Semantic up here with his hypercharged turret as well. Luki's trying to clear out a little bit of space for Semantic here. Semantic is just going to walk straight into the face, though, and that is going to be enough damage coming in from the Brock hypercharge as well as Boss's main attack to be able to secure that kill there. We're going to get our screen reset over here, it would appear, but we are tied up right there, and Reply Totem really needs to fix something. If they don't get this set, they might be in a lot of trouble, Panda.
Yeah, it's not looking that great for them. I feel like they have a good first game, but then Humble is able to adapt, and maybe we might see something different coming in from Reply Totem. We saw Mori doing such a great job of wiggling and ensuring that he was a big menace here, but I feel like the wall break here at the start by Luki makes it harder for Mori to operate, but this man has wiggles, and now all three members of Humble are focusing down Mori because he's just that much of an oppressive presence on this map.
He's doing such a good job distracting. It cannot be overstated, but we see another one of his walls go down. He's finally going to end up falling, but Maru more or less has his post set up pretty much completed right there. I think he needs one more onto the safe, but after that, the Chuck cycle is going to be complete. We see him using the speed again, trying to catch back up, but Boss is going to be able to secure that kill. He's going to land his mines onto the safe as well. And it looks like they should probably be popping that first shield tier. It looks like Totem has popped that first shield tier. Oh, and Maru gets absolutely blown up by the tripwire. We've got hypercharge mines onto the safe too. Boss has got his damage gear popped too. He's doing so much work right now.
Oh my
and the
god.
Chuck is going to be, oh my goodness, these bow mines are getting so much damage right now, Panda.
That is crazy, the amount of damage that they got in there. Maru's trying his best, but this boss's mines are just completely dominated the side of Reply Totem here, and slowly though we see Humble getting back here in the swing of things. They have taken down the safe down to his last tier here, and it's only 24%. That's two more shots coming in from the Chuck, and now we see Semantic going in quite hand with his hypercharge, able to get one kill. Not going to be enough as Humble are going to take the L here, and Reply Totem take this set and equalize it at 1 set apiece.
That was super well played to Totem. They were definitely on the ropes pretty early, but they stayed down. They waited until they got their chuck post set up, and then they just continued to shred through the safe. Looked like Amber got a ton of safe damage up there as well, but they were able to sustain Bo's reign of terror. His mines were going absolutely insane in that game, but well played by Totem, keeping their heads up, and they're going to tie it up 1-1. Super excited now. We are going to see a even series. Hopefully we'll be able to go into set 5 for our first and only time today, but we are going to be moving into set 3 after this on pinhole punt, finally getting some Brawl Ball back in the rotation.
It's going to be interesting to see how Heist changes up as the meta evolves, because right now people are running conventional compositions as to what they expect Heist to really be good for. But I feel like these phases of the high safe where it has invincibility is going to significantly change how this mode is going to be optimized at the highest level. I feel like the way you play Heist normally and the way pros are going to be playing Heist is going to be quite different. And we're going to see that as this tournament goes on for longer. But for now, we're going to go into Pinhole Punt, which is a Brawl Ball map, which is up next. And just looking at some of the brawlers that we tend to see, Carl, Chester, Buster, but what do you expect to see here, Duncan?
Definitely Carl, Chester, and Buster are some of the better brawlers here. I think that Ollie and Hank kind of wrap up that kind of like tank tier. That's some of the better brawlers on this map. Trying to think of what else. I feel like Poco is definitely a pretty good brawler to pair up with some of those aggro brawlers, especially if you're facing against something like a Ollie or like a Lou. He can kind of completely make those brawlers useless with his gadget. Lumi, obviously, if she's in play, will be pretty menacing. This is a brawler we haven't seen yet today that I'm a little bit surprised has slipped through every single time, has been Meeple. I feel like this is a good Meeple map as well. We have yet to see him in today's day of games, but overall I think that Meeple could be another brawler that is a little bit situational, but if he gets good matchups and doesn't have to rely on his reload speed too much, he can definitely be a pretty good brawler here and can kind of clear out the path for a couple of goals.
Yeah, and I love how the meta has been evolving, right? It's like a creature. It's like a living, breathing creature. The start of the month, we had Meeple being brought out a lot. We had Finks being banned out a lot, and now there's no semblance of either Meeple or Finks. And Ollie was always being picked up, and now we barely see Ollie being brought out at all. So that is interesting to see as we go into our draft now on Pinhole Punt. We have our bans are going to be Buster, Hank, Carl, B, Chester, and Lumi.
Not too surprised by the bans from either of these teams. It looks like Totem is banning more of the aggro brawlers. Humble is banning more of the control type tank counter brawlers. So it looks like Totem is going to be picking up the Finks with the first pick. Just as he said he was falling off, he is bouncing right back into the meta apparently. But I do like the Finks pick here. He's a pretty solid tank counter, and although a lot of the best tanks are banned, Ollie is still on the board, so not too surprised to see a brawler that does decently well into tanks. I like the Finks a lot. A lot of people are kind of torn on if he's good or not. I think that if you are able to hit that middle shot consistently, he can be one of the best damage dealers in the game though, Panda.
No, you're completely right on that. This is like one of the maps where Finks and Meeple are definitely good picks here. I feel like this is probably the case to be made for relevancy in esports, and Finks is such a great shout here. Just the amount of damage that is a possibility because you put down that field there is huge. And Humble decided to pick up the Ollie along with the Poco. I feel like Ollie on this map with Poco, can't go wrong with it. You have sustain, you have Ollie just being so tanky and a big menace, but obviously Reply Totem have the means to counter this out here if they want.
Yep, I expect Reply Totem to go a little bit more DPS, a little bit more tank counter, considering Humble went with the Ollie Poco either way. I love the pairing of Ollie and Poco because you take the Poco away from the other team. They take away that gadget that completely counters Ollie's entire skill set. So I love that from the side of Humble. It makes a lot of sense to me. Totem is probably going to add a little bit more tank deterrence if I had to bet on it, but overall with the Chester out, with the B out, with the Lumi out, and with the Carl out, I feel like there's not that many brawlers that are like going to be super fantastic tank counters, especially considering they can't really go Lou into the Poco. So I feel like we might even be seeing something like a Surge make its first appearance here, or an Ems. I guess something like that would work too. They're going to go Ems, they're going to go Ash. So a lot of speed, a lot of rundown ability from the side of Reply Totem. Curious to see what Humble is going to be able to add here. I honestly love the Ems pick, even though I'm usually a pretty big Ems hater.
Yeah, I think the M's can do wonders here. The amount you can heal up with the Poco is great, but the damage output that M's can dish out is kind of crazy, especially if you're trying to run away from her. And Humble have this last pick here. I don't think that they have anything specifically for the Ashe here, and I feel like with the Buster Hank and the Chester being banned out, the Ashe is such a good pick for Totem.
I agree. I think the Ashe is solid. I'm a little bit worried that his super is going to be more or less useless, considering all of these brawlers on the side of Humble are piercing. But overall, you don't really need the super with Ashe. If you keep your rage up and you keep that speed up, you're going to have so much damage, going to be able to absolutely plow through the defense line of Humble here. So I think that the Ashe is a little bit risky. Obviously, they know that the rats aren't going to get very much value in this game, but overall, they still decided it was going to be worth it. And with Buster, Hank, and Carl banned, I honestly can't blame him. Probably the best remaining aggro brawler on the board. So we're going to see what Humble goes. I guess we're not, but it's going to be a Dynamite here. So very interesting pick right there. Looks like a lot of action going down already. Is the Ashe able to score here? What's going on right there? He is.
It's not only the fact that the Dynamite has been picked up, it's the gadget that the Dynamite is using is not the stun gadget, because they just want a little bit of ancillary damage. Boss going in with his super is able to get the hypnotize off on Amaru, gets a kill as well. Luki is going to be popping his gadget there. Not going to get a kill though, which is unfortunate for him and his team, as they are able to finally get all the kills that they require, but no real way forwards for getting a goal at this point.
These are some crazy comps, man. It seems like some crazy gameplay going down here, but Luki's going to be launching a super. It gets slowed down by the Finks to the point where he's not able to pull off the trick shot. That was a very, very well-timed Fink super to be able to prevent the Mike from being able to get the wall break in there. And it looks like, oh my goodness, Angel Boy almost able to get the game-winning goal, but now we're going to see them fall back on defense. This has been a game of fast breaks so far, Panda.
It's crazy. If you are going to blink, you're going to miss it here. And a nice kill from Mori onto Boss. That's huge. Finds a kill on Luki as well, completely picking off members of Humble one by one. He has another super as well that he can use here. And this super, along with Ems, is just crazy. Just look at the amount of damage. Oh my god, the kills are coming thick and fast. Luki's the lone member of Humble alive, but Totem are looking quite dominant in this one.
Totem are holding it down. They don't really need to get a goal here. Obviously, if Angel Boy gets on another fast break, he will try for it, but Maru is going to be more than content holding it down here, getting a ton of value out of that M super right there. It looks like Semantic is rocking with the anti-stun gadget on Poco, so the M slow isn't going to be as impactful, but either way, still going to be able to push them back a fair amount. Mari's trying to hold them out here, but Boss is looking for his opportunity as Angel Boy pops the hyper. Can't really tell what's going on the bottom of the map, but it looks like Boss is able to get through that hypercharge. Crazy stuff. Don't know how he was able to pull that off. Must have been a beautiful dribble play with the ollie, but well played to Humble. They tied up 1-1, Panda.
That was crazy. I didn't expect that at all to happen. That was amazing stuff coming from Humble. 50 seconds left. Good positioning from the side of Totem. Angel Boy is going to be taken out because of the hypnosis and the team play coming in. Hypercharged by Maru. He's able to get his super off here. He tries to find the kill on Luki. He's able to get a trade. Boss is with the ball. He has a super as well, so they have a game-winning opportunity here, Humble. I'm sorry, Duncan.
Yeah, it looks like Boss is going to be looking for his opportunity to go for it. He's going to be stunning Angel Boy here, and it looks like Angel Boy is going to come out on top of that interaction. So we see another slow Mike super come through. It's so interesting watching the Mike super through the Pink super, but Semantic stays up. He's going to slot it to Luki. Is he going to be able to break his ankles here? He indeed is, with the help of his super. Well played by Semantic to get his man the assist for the shot, and then Luki finishes it off masterfully. Very well played. That was a very, very, very hectic first game, Panda. I don't even know what to talk about here.
I do not want to be in Luki's shoes, because every time dude gets a hypercharge, it seems like Mori is there with his own super to slow it down every single time. It was funny to see, but Humble were able to come out on top. We're gonna go into game number 2 of this third set. Humble are up against Totem, and already Totem are moving up very aggressively. Last time around, they got an early goal as well, but Humble were able to tie it up and win it in overtime. So, of course, Reply Totem are going to try to ensure that it doesn't happen this time around. Let's see if they can remedy the situation.
Humble with a much better defense to start this game than they had last game. Oh, he almost teleported right back into Luki's super there. Almost a brutal mistake from Mari, but Boss is going to be trying to capitalize on the motion they have here. That's going to be a team wipe on the side of Humble. It's just going to be Maru with super left playing defense. He's just trying to buy as much time as possible, but I think that Boss is going to be able to walk this in, and indeed he is. 1-0 lead for Humble right now.
Yeah, the behemoth Ollie, just so much of HP to his name. He can just walk this one in, and That's a great start for Humble. They're already in a winning situation here. Nice kill from Mori onto Luki, but Boss gets kill onto Maru. The ball is still with Semantic. That should be goal. That should be set as well for Humble, as they are able to completely wipe the face off of Reply Totem in this last game here.
Absolutely. Mari got caught up a little bit too high there, but that was a very, very quick game number 2 after they had a pretty solid game number 1. So a little bit surprised to see it fall apart that quickly for Totem, but they are going to be on the back foot now. Humble is 1 set away from going 4-0 through 4 days of league play. Is Totem going to be able to step up to the plate and knock them off their high horse here? We will have to stay tuned to find out, as we are about to go into set number 4, which is going to be on Layer Cake, a map we have not seen at all yet today, Panda.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how this one plays out. I feel like we're seeing a very strong Humble side, but this very strong Totem side, but Humble just seems to be indomitable right now. Any strategy that you throw at Humble just seems to be bouncing back against you. So Totem have their work cut out for them. Let's see how it does play out in Layer Cake. It's such a AG map which requires you to be on top of every single interaction, and I feel like the cleanliness of the play from Totem is what is going to keep them. I feel like Totem's biggest enemy is Totem itself, if that makes sense.
I would probably have to agree with that. I mean, I feel like this map is like a little bit of a wild one as far as bounty goes. You can go range, you can go thrower, you can go tank, you can go assassin. Pretty much everything is on the table for this map. As we get into our bans, we see Buster, Juju, and Angelo banned out by Totem. Humble is going to opt for Shade, Lumi, and Hank. So definitely like the Shade and the Hank bans. Feel like those are the 2 aggro picks that are the most often picked on this map. Shade can be an absolute terror if you get the right situation for him. So definitely reasonable bans on that side. Obviously not seeing any more Lumi for the rest of the day, I would have to assume so. But we're going to see, I believe Totem should probably have the first pick here. But overall, there's going to be a lot of range brawlers still left on the board. A lot of throwers, everyone except Juju on the thrower end. So I'm curious what we'll have here.
This is such an important set here for both of these teams. Humble obviously 1 set away from ensuring and cementing their position at the top of the leaderboard, and Totem possibly 1 set away from going home today. So not the best proposition for them. We're going to get our first pick from Totem. It's going to be Jean, and I don't think you can go wrong with the Jean on a map like this, in a mode like this. So I think Jean is a very good, safe early pick here. See what Humble bring to the table. Ollie is something that we do see a lot. It has the highest pick rate, and we see Ollie coming out along with the Janet. Janet also has a pretty high pick rate with a pretty high win rate as well. Angelo is another brawler that is banned out, but has a pretty comparable pick rate here. But I don't see Carl being banned out. I don't see, I don't see why you wouldn't go for Carl here.
I kind of agree with that. I think Carl is a fantastic, fantastic brawler on this map. The other brawler that I really like on this map that is still available is Gray. I don't know if they'll necessarily pair Gray and Jean, kind of 2 brawlers that accomplish similar things with their pulling abilities. Obviously, Gray has the teleport as well, which could be very useful for his teammates, but it looks like they are going to leave the Gray. Wouldn't be surprised to see Humble pick that up, as Totem finishes off their comp with a Chester and a Carl. So as expected, the Carl comes into play. They're going to have the Chester to be able to counter the Ollie dives a little bit. So overall, very solid, well-rounded comp from the side of Totem. What do you think Humble is going to go with here?
I'm going to say Kit. And hear me out. I think that the kit can work here. I just think that the kit with the Ollie or kit with the Janet could work out here. I think it's slightly a wild pick here, but I think it can work out. But realistically speaking, maybe a Squeak might work out here pretty decent, or they could go for a Tick. Okay, I didn't expect the Tick, but I guess that works.
No. I guess. I'm not the biggest fan, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's good for zoning, obviously. Like, he's gonna be able to like kind of tank a Gene pull if he gets his super, but I feel like he's a little bit susceptible into Carl. I feel like he's a little bit susceptible into Gene pulls if he doesn't have super online. Overall, just not really that oppressive of a brawler, mostly just going to be there for zoning purposes. So if Humble's able to get good positioning, the Tick can definitely keep Totem kind of spawn trapped a little bit. I feel like that's probably the look that they're going for, but we are getting straight into set number 4. We do see Angel Boy is going Flying Hook Carl, so Totem is going to be securing the blue star off the rip here.
Yeah, that's a very important objective for them to get here, but obviously you want to ensure that you keep the blue star for the entirety of the game. But Semantic is on the right hand lane, keeping Maru at bay. Mori try to get his super, and I think the name of the game is getting your magic hand and getting that aggression sorted. Angel Boy getting the kill on Luki is going to be huge, and that puts them at a 3-star lead against Humble.
Even with the lead, Angel Boy still opting to use a flying hook to go aggro and get the kill onto the tick. A little bit surprised that he was going that aggressive, but he got away with it. It paid off decently well. And we see Mari, he's got to be getting pretty close to his magic hand here. Mari's got super, Angel Boy's got super.
Wow.
And with this lead, he's going to dash in a little bit aggressive there. He's going to have to change course on that relatively quickly, but here we go. Semantic is coming in as well. He gets all 3 of them stunned, if I'm not incorrect there, and that is going to be so much value coming out for the side of Humble. Very well played. They get 7 stars and give up 0 in the process.
There are 2 things there. One is, why did Angel Boy go in? And 2 is, why did they let that happen? That's crazy. Hypercharge. Oh my god. Pull coming in. Mori is able to get Semantic down and keep his teammate alive at the same time. That's a 2-star lead for Humble. What beautiful team chemistry and synergy coming in from a reply totem there.
Well played by Mori. He bailed Angel Boy. Angel Boy was going to be in a lot of trouble there if he didn't hit that pull, but he got his boy out of a bad situation. We see Maru moving up there too, but we're going to see Angel Boy with another hypercharge in there. A lot of aggression coming down. Every time Angel Boy goes in, Semantic does the same, and they're going to be able to kill Mari easily. We see Boss on the Janet with 6 stars on his head. He is going to have to be the main focus for Totem as we move into the last 10 seconds here, but he does have a fly online.
The hypercharge being popped. I think that Angel Boy might go down here. No, there's a kill on Luki, but Mori falls at the last second. And that is going to give Humble the win. They are on match point here. One more win is going to secure their spot at the top of the leaderboards.
Yep, they were going to have to get Boss out of the way eventually, and he is the last brawler that you want to have to kill, considering he's on the Janet. He can fly for the last 7 seconds of the game if necessary, so if you don't get to him early, you're not getting to him at all. Very well played by Humble, though. I do expect Angel Boy to be a little bit more cautious with his dives in this game, because we saw Semantic getting so much value every single time Angel Boy left. Semantic is going to be pushed up pretty high, as we see Humble with a 1-star lead off rip here. Angel Boy not able to get away with that blue star unscathed.
Great start coming in. Ooh, super coming in by Semantic. He should be able to get the Angel Boy, but the pull for Mori. This time, though, it's not going to go Mori's way, as Semantic is able to get the kill. He uses super, but he is surely going to be falling down by the wayside here. 4 gems. Oh, 4 stars. But no, a trade there. Maru falls, and this once more is going to be a lead. Pull coming in once again. Luki falls. Oh my god, back and forth, and Mori falls once more despite using the hypercharge. People are falling like flies, Duncan.
This is going back and forth. This is insane stuff. I don't even know which kill I want to talk about, man. But Angel Boy is going to be under heavy pressure. Boss is flying right now with his Janet. But it seems like no kills are going to come out of that specific situation right there. We see Totem retreating with a 1-star lead, as well as the blue star right now. But they are very, very much spawn trapped. And this is where the tick is going to show his value right here. As Angel Boy pops up with the hypercharge, is he able to get the Janet? Not yet. Semantic goes into cover for him. But just so much supers going down from each side. So much aggression happening from each side right now.
Wow.
As we move into the last 30 seconds, Totem is hanging on to this 1-star lead for dear life.
This is my favorite game of the entire day. Nice pull coming from Maru. Finds Mori, gets a kill on a boss. Now flying hook by Angel Boy, but he's going to be going in. He finds a kill. He's able to jump out over there, but hypercharge being used by boss. He gets 1 kill. He's trying to go for another one. He is going to be able to do it. He's going to be pretty low. It's going to be a 1-star deficit still. Boss going in. He is trying to find Maru. Maru might be taken out. Maru's still alive. Boss tries to find it. Not able to do so. Still a 1-star deficit. Oh my god. Angel Boy finds the kill. He finds another one. Boss gets taken down, and it is now a win for Totem. They've tied it up in this set. We might just see a set number 5, but it depends on the result of this next game, Duncan.
That was insane. Boss almost hit the lick of the century on the Janet right there. He got so much value out of those 2 flies there, especially that hypercharge. But somehow, some way, Totem was able to hang on to the W. I gotta say, Angel Boy played so much better in game number 2 than game number 1. I think that was a major reason they were able to come out on top right there. But we get into set 3, or into match number 3 of our layer cake set right now. Very excited to see what happens here. Angel Boy does get away with the blue star unaffected right now, but he's going to get gadgeted by Semantic, and that's a double gadget from Semantic. They're able to kill Mori, and now we are going to see Humble retreating with a 1-star lead, as the tick has them very much spawn trapped with the help of Boss here.
Insane ticket coming out on the left hand side. It does break open all the walls. Angel Boy going down. So the Semantic Maru is the next to fall. And certainly Mori does as well too. An untimely tick head there. It's going to be a 3-star lead favoring Humble here as Angel Boy gets hypnotized here. Nice pull coming from Mori. He finds skill and a Semantic as well. It's a 2-star lead for Humble.
2-star lead for Humble, but there have been so many back and forth kills here, so many different trades. I never know who's going to come out on top of each of these interactions. Insane stuff right here. But we see Maru moving up the left side with a super here. No way to tell which Chester super he's going to have in the inventory, but if he has a bomb, it could be very, very impactful. We see Janet. Boss on the Janet has his fly ready to go as well. So definitely going to be trying to get a hypercharge on that end, be able to make that game-winning play. Angel Boy has hypercharge over on the left side of the map. And we see Totem pushing up pretty high right here, only down by 2 stars, and they have the blue on their head. But Semantic is going to be trying to go in, buy a little bit of time right here. Angel Boy goes down. Maru opts not to use the pull yet.
Wonderful plays coming in for Semantic. The way he's able to get out and bamboozle the opponents, hypnotize multiple enemies on the other side. So great here for Semantic. They are down by 4 stars to Reply Totem, but they are going in. Hypercharge once more being popped by Angel Boy. He should be able to get the kill. He's able to get the kill, get traded out. It's going to be a 2-star lead, but Mori in a bad position here. He's going to be taken out, surely. And it is a 2-star lead now for Humble with 6 seconds left on the clock. It is heartbreak as Maru falls to Luki, and Humble are able to cap this one off and get their 4th win in this OWN.
Maru was going to have to pull off the unthinkable if they were going to come out on top of that, but Humble shuts it down. Very, very well played to Humble. That was probably our most electric matchup of the day on that layer cake set. I'm glad we saved the best for last right there, but we do see Humble securing the 3-1 win over Reply Totem. Overall, though, very well played to both teams. Absolute back and forth mayhem going down in that last set of layer cake. That's going to be one that I'll be thinking about for a while after the broadcast today. But well played to Humble. They secure their spot at the top of the leaderboards, our only 4-0 team, Panda.
Yeah, make sure you guys scan the QR code to get the gems first come, first serve. So if you snooze, you lose. But going back to what we saw, I loved this set. I love this set specifically. I love the entire matchup. It was so beautiful to watch the mano a mano between the Jean and you saw Semantic going up against the Carl on the other side. It's just beautiful to watch how each of the members of each of the teams were trying to pick up the slack of the other members, and it was so back and forth. And the fact that they were able to, still have their wits about them was crazy. I just feel so bad for Reply Totem. You saw them getting that interaction at the end, which was favoring them. But unfortunately, you had the Jean just a lone man by himself and all the starts to give. Very, very... I don't know if I'm a Totem fan and I'm kind of sad about this. I feel like I'm going to cry here. But Humble take the dub. A very convincing dub, I have to say, because winning a match that hard is not easy.
Yeah, no, very well played to Humble, man. They deserve their spot as our #1 team as we take a look at the leaderboard. Our only undefeated team through our first 4 days of league play. We have Humble at 4-0. We have SK bringing up the second spot at 3-1. And then we have 4 teams sitting at 2-2, led off by Reply Totem and Eclipsar, sitting in playoff position right now. Right outside of playoff position, we have our new team Heretics, who had a very, very good W today. And then right below them, Inner Circle, Ping Abuser sitting at 1-3, Reverso, our only winless team. So hopefully they'll be able to grab a spot on that win column. But right now we are looking at Humble, SK, Totem, and Eclipsar leading off of our playoff push as we are through 4 full days, over halfway through league play so far.
Yeah, officially we're through more than 50% of this. We're going to have match day number 5 next. But just as a recap to see, I can show you what's going to be in match day number 5. We're going to have Pink Abusers versus Reverso, followed by Inner Circle versus Reply Totem. Then we have Eclipsar Esports versus SK Gaming, and Team Heretics versus Humble. Same time, same place. Tomorrow is where we're going to have all of these matches. So make sure you guys tune in for some peak, because we do have a lot of peak coming in tomorrow. Going to be quite interesting to see how all of these matches do pan out. But for today, we did have our 4 matches. One was Reverso versus Eclipsar, where Eclipsar took it as a 3-0 in a sweep against them. SK Gaming versus Inner Circle was a 3-0 for SK Gaming. Ping Abusers versus Team Heretics was 3-1 for Team Heretics. And Reply Totem versus Humble was 3-1 for Reply Totem, the match that we just saw today and just now. How are you feeling after seeing our 4 matches today, Duncan?
I would have loved to see at least one of them go to set 5. I gotta be honest, I'm a sucker for a close game. I love when the stakes are as high as physically possible, and unfortunately, we didn't end up seeing any games get pushed to set 5. No reverso sweep action today, but I'm hoping that tomorrow we'll be able to see a little bit more of that action, especially with our match number 2, Inner Circle versus Reply Totem. I feel like that could be a 5-setter, as well as Heretics versus Humble. I mean, we saw very impressive flashes from Team Heretics today. Maybe a little bit of a roster change is what they needed to kind of shake off a little bit of that rust and get back into the real competitive games here. But Humble obviously is going to be looking to extend their streak to go 5-0. So overall, we've got a ton of games coming up. I'm looking forward to it, but hopefully we'll get a set 5 tomorrow, Panda. That's all I can ask for.
And just a last reminder, you have the QR code up here. It's a new one. Make sure you use it. Because if you don't, you're gonna give it to somebody else. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. It was match day number 4. I am once again your host, Pentacast, joined by the amazing Duncan. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. If you have, make sure you guys subscribe to me on all my socials. Subscribe to Duncan on all of his socials. His socials are at Duncan Brawl Stars on YouTube and on Twitch. Make sure you follow him. He does daily content. He streams twice a week as well. And we are going to have a new season come into Brawl Stars. So if you are in the market to buy a Brawl Pass or anything, make sure to use code PAN in the shop. It would help me out greatly. Thank you so much to the sponsors and the production team. You guys get to see all this wonderful graphics and whatnot, but the production team does a lot of the work in the background. They make sure the graphics look good. Today, for example, we had a lot of spectate issues, and they were able to ensure that we were still able to get the gameplay from the perspective of the players. And obviously, different players have different devices which have different resolutions, so they were working overtime to make sure that everything fit so that we could actually show you guys some beautiful gameplay and all the production and the work that we put into it. So once again, thank you so much to all the people working behind the scenes, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow. But any last words before we leave, Duncan?
Nope, don't have much, but thank you guys so much for watching today. Hope you guys all enjoyed. We are going to be looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as well. We're going to have some great games, and I'm excited to cast them with you, Panda. So see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you mark your calendars.
Peace.